Hello, all our lovely spooky friends, and welcome to another Storytime episode of the Scary-ish podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, and this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we're here to tell you guys some stories.
Indeed we are. And as we previously discussed, we switched our format of the show just a tiny bit. We typically do 6 stories per show. We're switching to 4. So a little bit less, but no big deal. We're very excited to share the stories that we have with you folks because they were sent by you folks. Shout out to Carly, who just subscribed for the 7th month in a row with Amazon Prime. It is March, so you can start your streaks and keep them going. We appreciate every single one of you that does that. Also, I do need to run one of these notifications because it happened while we were in countdown mode and not when the show was live. And I want to give a shout out to Chessie Cat because you are the first person to buy a piece of merchandise from our Streamlabs store while we were live. And I don't know what this looks like, so let's all watch this together. Cool.
Oh, that's cool. Cute.
It actually shows what was bought, except that's totally, it says it's a Galaxy S9 case, and that's totally a picture of a tank top. So who really knows? But we do appreciate the fact that you purchased something from us. Also, shout out to Spooky Zora, who just resubscribed with their Amazon Prime. And that just ran on its own. So it looks like that's working. So fantastic stuff. We appreciate all of you folks.
Very proud of my most recent designs for stuff. So hopefully you guys like them too. I know the Streamlabs store has more exclusive stuff that's not on our Teespring store. So if you guys want to check that out, there's a new design you guys haven't even seen yet that's up there. So,
and if any of you folks are like, wow, you guys seem to have a lot of stores, I don't want to go through a bunch of them. I did go ahead and make a store page on our website, so scarish.com. If you go there, there's a tab at the top, and if you click store, all of the merchandise that we have available across all of the things between Teespring, Streamlabs, and Robin's Etsy store, they're all shown right there. And if you find a product that you want, just click on it, and it'll take you straight to the purchase page of whichever store you're going to. Streamlabs will probably take you to the home page. They're a little bit finicky, but you can just locate that item and pick it up. And they come in a bunch of different variations of colors. I know we have like t-shirts and stuff like that up there. Some of them are, locked into white, but that's just about it. Pretty much all of the other ones, like sweaters, hoodies, all that stuff, you can pick your color, and there's multiple things that you can pick, sizes, all that fun stuff. So definitely go to scarish.com and check out the stores. And as far as the stories we're about to read, these are all sent to us by listeners like yourselves. So if you have a story you would like to share with us, it can be anything from scary to funny to spiritual. We get a bunch of different things. You can email storytime@scarish.com. You can also go to the website scarish.com and click on contact us and fill out a form. I will say 3 out of the 4 stories we're going to read you tonight all came in via the form, which is really cool that you folks are using it. You can also go to facebook.com/scarishpodcast and message us there. If you go there, click like on the page. We always appreciate that. You can join the Scary-ish Spooky Friends group for a bunch of really funny memes, or you can post your story there if you want. Ulri posted a video back, I think in September, about their haunted stairway to nowhere. Shout out to Akasina no Kairu, who just resubscribed for the 7th month in a row on Prime.
Dude, I can't believe how many times you guys have subscribed to us, because it
helps us know how long we've been doing these live, because you folks have been supporting us the entire time, and it's amazing.
I hurt my nail.
Well, let's not take a break to fix those nails. Robin very often takes a break to fix her nails while we're recording. Shout out to Miss Deezy, who just resubscribed for the 7th month in a row. And it says, that Patreon shout in the beginning of episode 65 jarred me while driving down the 15th South.
Hilarious.
Thanks. I'm glad that you didn't crash or anything like that. But yeah, so you can email us all the different ways. You can Facebook us. You can join our Discord. The best way to do that, go to the website, scarish.com, click on the little Discord link. It's on all the pages, all of our social media links or little logos. Just click on whichever one you want. Twitter is @scaryishpod, and Instagram is @scarishpodcast.
Yeah.
Those are all the ways to reach out to us, and we appreciate all of the folks who do. So I believe I'm going first tonight.
Yeah.
So the one that I'm starting out with is a little bit heavy, so we're going to start with it instead of end with it, because Robin typically gets upset if we end with the heavy ones. And the subject of this one is past life you can share on the pod.
All right.
So here we go. What's good, my fellas? It's your boy Laura. Pronouns they, them. What's good? And I'm back again with a more hopeful story. I don't really tell a lot of people because I feel like it'll make me seem like a quote-unquote freak or something. So I decided to share it with you guys because I feel pretty compelled to share it with somebody. And I think that's a really good thing to keep in mind, folks. Like, some people really just have stuff they want to share because they don't want to seem like a weirdo to other people, and they know that just might be how they're perceived, and you can feel free and feel safe to share it with us, even if you don't want it shared on the pod. But getting back to it, it goes on. It talks a lot about depression and suicide. It's very intense, so I hope I don't make anyone too upset about it.
So trigger warning.
Trigger warning. I was told that this has a happy ending. So
oh, cool. Okay.
Here we go.
Unless it has a happy ending, I guess.
I have had several bouts of depression where I would get so low I would be suicidal. One of these times was when I was 17 and I would stay up all night deciding the most inconvenient way I could die without making anyone sad. That's really, really sad.
That's really, really sad.
I was in the middle of my living room feeling mentally exhausted, as a depressed person would, when they decide to skip hanging out with friends and family on the holidays and stay home crying instead. I'm glad this has a happy ending because it's definitely starting out sad. By the front door, we have this small mirror that I looked into for what felt like a minute, and suddenly I felt like I was somewhere else entirely. I saw myself as a grown man around early 1900s to 1930s. So it's like a vision they're having. I was in an alleyway of a large city talking to my daughter, who looked about 8 or so. I was telling her to go find some bread for us to eat when I get home from work, and she suddenly started coughing up blood. I could feel my heart sink. I knew she was sick with the same illness that her mother had, tuberculosis. She told me, "It's okay, Daddy," and I told her I would be back from work soon, and she ran off. Ever since my wife Sophia died, that's very specific, and I feel like you could try and dig up to see.
Yeah, research and see.
Ever since my wife Sophia died, I was absolutely distraught about it. The only thing I had to live for was our daughter now, but I knew she wasn't going to get better. Instead of going to work that day, I climbed up on top of the building of my job. I vividly remember looking down at the sidewalk and seeing cars go by on the road. I vividly remember feeling the wind and my feet on the top edge of the building. I felt myself lean forward, but most importantly, I felt the exact moment of regret as my feet left the building. I even remember hearing the crunch of my bones and the sound of my body hitting the concrete, and then just darkness.
What the F?
This is definitely very dark. And it's just weird I shouldn't say it's weird, but I think it's important to note that they remember the feeling of regret as much as they remember anything else in this thing.
That may be why it's a happy ending.
That may be. So let's keep going. I came back to seeing myself crying in the mirror of the living room and falling on the floor. I felt and saw every single bit of that flashback as if it was really me. I felt as if it was truly important for me to see that right then in one of the lowest points of my life. It was a message saying that I really will regret leaving this life. I feel like I wasn't alone anymore. I'm 21 now, and I see a therapist every other week, and I take medication every night, but I finally realized that the feelings like that don't last forever. No matter what highs or lows I go through, I know that I can make it through, and that at the end of the day, it'll be okay. The vision gave me strength to finally go to the hospital and get help for myself, and I know that past life me is happy for me finally being able to make a life worth living. I know this is a sad story, but I hope it uplifted someone's spirits who needed to hear it, hopefully. If not, here's a picture of my 2 little Omen babies, Bean, the chunky one, and Oliver, the tiny cinnamon roll, snuggling. And it's a picture of 2 cats in a cat bed spooning, and it's absolutely adorable.
Oh my goodness. I love that pattern on cats where it's like...
striped?
Yeah, but it's not just like regular tabby stripes. It's like McGonagall stripes, you know?
You always say, "Oh my god, that cat's a McGonagall."
Yeah, I don't know what they're actually called, okay? But all I know...
I think that's a good name for a breed.
All I know is that's what Professor McGonagall was in Harry Potter.
So that is the end of the email, though. So that's the end of the story. So I don't know. It's definitely one of those intense ones, like seeing this or feeling this, whether it was a vision or a hallucination or whatever the case may be. But it's always a good thing when whatever happens, whatever you see at the end of it, you like want to keep going.
Yeah.
So it's a good story to share, and we're very happy that you shared it with us. So we appreciate that. I know it's an intense thing, and like they said, they don't share this with many people, if anyone, because they don't want to feel like a quote unquote freak. But like, sometimes people have stuff happen to them that's unexplainable, and you just want to tell someone about it. And I just think, it's a good thing to get it off your chest. But thank you very much. We appreciate you sending that in.
Yeah.
So let's take our first break of the evening and look over into Stream Chat, see what you folks had to say. I'm going to guess it's going to be a lot of highs and stuff like that. So good stuff.
And some lows.
Wow.
I don't have good jokes today.
You have fairly good jokes. I haven't seen any bad jokes. I'm going to guess.
Oh my God.
That was Donald Duck, who
it's not Donald.
Scrooge McDuck, who always falls over. Scrooge McDuck. All right. So here's the thing. Jace was in the chat in YouTube 3 hours early and said, "I'm in the wrong time zone, RIP. I thought I was late by 2 minutes." That's hilarious. As far as for when the show went live, the first person in the channel was Akbar. And so I guess they take the first streak away from Jace, although Jace was here 3 hours before.
Right.
So it's hard to tell. I'll let you folks decide whether or not Jace's streak keeps going with an asterisk or whether or not it restarts. I'm not going to make that decision. And a lot of folks over there saying hello in the chat. So it's we're glad to have all of you folks here tonight.
Boop,
What do you got over
boop,
there in
boop,
Twitch,
boop,
Robin?
boop, boop. Well, I showed up late, so I don't have very much. Just
The highs or the stuff after we started reading.
yes. So, yeah, there's not really anything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Carly says happy they're still with us, and Spooky Store says, wow, such specific information. It is very specific. The fact that you have like a name, you know, you could probably go and research stuff that could, you could find out who you were.
I will say I did request when I was told that this was a really, really vivid, intense one, that it be like cross-reference, which is just taking very specific sentences from the story and Google searching them to see if it comes up in a creepypasta, just because I didn't exactly know the content, but I always want to make sure that we do our due diligence, so to speak. You know what I mean? So yeah, if anyone thinks it's familiar, please feel free to let us know. But I don't think we were able to find anything on the internet that matched it. So it sounds like it's an original. It's an OG story. So Jace is saying, looks like you won my streak. Congrats. That's funny. Lots and lots of things regarding us starting a little bit late because we were 2 minutes late. I said wardrobe malfunction. No boobies popped out or anything like that. It was just we were getting like set up still. So I figured I'd just push it out by about 120 seconds. So it worked out fairly well.
Sorry.
I wasn't going to blame you. I wasn't going to throw you under the bus on that one.
Yeah. All right. You want me to go into mine?
Lots of highs and hellos. I'm still finishing up mine. So cool. Glitch says Scrooge McDuck fell over because apparently his life is like a hurricane.
Hilarious.
It's a good joke. That's a very, very good joke. Right on. So that's everything I have for Stream Chat. Let me mark this, and you can give us a transition into your first email of the night.
All right. So this one begins, hello.
Hello.
It says
Again,
it's from Celia.
Friend of a friend. I know you well.
This one's from Celia and not annoying Adam. So it goes, hello. Before I get to telling my story, I just wanted to say that I've been one of your ghost listeners since late September.
I think it's funny they're called that.
Of 2018, in case your backlog gets even longer.
It got shorter.
It got shorter. So, which is great. My coworker recommended that I listen to you, and she got me hooked. Then I got
Shout out to your coworker, whoever they are. We appreciate that.
We do
sharing
appreciate
the word.
it. Yeah. Sometimes I'm just like, where I want to see like the branches, you know, where it's like
where did it begin?
Yes, and then it goes to this person, and then that person goes to this. I just want to see.
It's like that scene in Wayne's World where he's like, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and so on, and the grid keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You've never seen Wayne's World? Or you just don't remember that part?
I just don't. The only thing I remember is the Foxy song.
Foxy lady.
Yeah, that's all I remember. And
she knew I was in a bad mood one day because we were driving, and Foxy Lady came on, and I didn't do the ears from Garth when he sings that song in Wayne's World. Where he goes Foxy, and I hope the listeners could hear my fingers pretending to be fox ears.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. Let's get back to that email.
Then I got my fiance hooked on your show too. We had a 2-day road trip to my parents' house and picked up his brother on the second day. And of course, when we were driving through fields at 10 p.m., I played your episode about black-eyed kids and freaked them out. You guys are hilarious and are just scary enough. Also, shout out to Adam's mom for being amazing and going through all the stories you get sent. Get her some flowers or something.
She needs it. She does need it. She's having a rough few days. So if any of you out there listening to this, put your hands up in the spirit bomb formation that everyone does to donate their energy to Goku when he's trying to defeat a foe, because she's having a rough couple of days and she's dealing with some family stuff. So it's a really good timing for this email to come in, giving a shout out to my mom. So shout out to my mom. I hope you're watching.
This story's kind of short, and I don't exactly remember this event because I was 3 or 4, but my mom told me what she remembered. One weekend, me and my mom went up to my grandma's, which was her mom's mom, because we need to...
Maternal grandmother.
Yes, maternal grandmother. The only memory I have of this trip is playing with her chihuahuas or other small dog. Anyway, one of the nights staying there, I was put to bed and my mom and grandma were chatting down the hall or downstairs when they suddenly heard me screaming at something or someone to get away from me. I was always a quiet and well-behaved kid, so it was weird for me to be screaming like that. My mom rushed into my room to go and save her baby.
Aww,
duh.
That's adorable.
I don't know.
You don't think she's adorable?
No. Because she said duh. And I'm like, some moms would be reluctant.
We've had stories before where the moms were like, I really didn't want to go to my kid, but they did anyways. It's good to know that they rushed in there, though.
When she got in there, she found me sitting straight up in bed, pointing at nothing in the middle of the room, still screaming.
Okay.
That's scary.
If this story doesn't end with your mom giving you away or dumping you on like an orphanage like doorstep, another shout out to your mom for keeping you around, because that's some terrifying stuff to have a kid that's pointing at nothing, screaming in the middle of the night. So yeah, I'd be haunted by that.
I'm just thinking of that scene in Supernatural where the demon or the devil or whatever, who
I have no idea what you're talking
the
about.
yellow-eyed demon standing over Sam in his crib and like dropping blood in his mouth, and then his mom gets like stuck to the ceiling and the house sets on fire or whatever.
It's similar, but she walked in there and she couldn't see anything, so it's a little bit different.
All right, but that's all I
don't think that's how this one's going to end, is all I'm saying.
All right. After that, I'm not sure if we stayed in a hotel or went home that night, but my grandma has never had us over again for our safety. Don't worry, she comes and visits us often.
Grandma's like, I think you guys are banned from my house forever. It's for your own good.
Or it's like, don't
bring that demon child in my house anymore.
I was going to make Ricky Bobby joke, but okay.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
A few years ago, when my mom told me about this story, she also told me that Grandma's partner often practiced witchcraft in the house.
Nope.
So all the times that Grandma has talked about cleansing her home make sense. I'm 19 now and haven't been back to my grandma's since that incident. I'm not sure what I saw, but obviously me screaming in the middle of the night was terrifying for my mom and grandma. Eventually, I'll have to send you more of my stories, including half sort of sleep paralysis and living on a haunted college campus for a year that used to be a tuberculosis hospital.
Lots
and
of tuberculosis stuff
an
this year,
underground
this
tunnel. Thanks for reading. Keep on creeping on, Celia. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sending that in.
Yeah. What are the odds, TB?
Yeah.
What?
I think it's very cool that your grandmother was like, look, I'll see you. Don't worry about that. I'll come visit you, but don't come to my house anymore. Because it's like, you don't really hear that in stories that often. And it really just, that has an air of authenticity when the older person, like the matriarch of the family is like, yeah, I'm kind of afraid about this. So let's just keep doing the thing that didn't spawn this activity. Stay the F out of my house.
Yeah.
Like if I was older and if I had my grandkid come over and that shit happened, I'd be like, I don't want to see Billy anymore. It's not like a bad thing or anything. Like we'll FaceTime.
I just imagine like the grandma's freaked out and it's not necessarily protecting the kids. It's definitely the grandma like, I know I practice witchcraft, or my partner practices witchcraft and stuff, but
we're so out of tune we don't notice these things.
Yeah.
Stop bringing your sensitive kid over here, pointing out the demons in our house.
But yeah, so thank you so much, Celia, for sending your story.
Cool, good stuff. Let's look over into the stream chat and see what you folks had to say. I see a lot of stuff in there from Twitch, and I got to switch over into the YouTubes and see what's going on.
So Zwazzle says, my daughter wakes up freaking out and will stare at the vent whispering about the witch a lot. She has actually randomly stared at the vents and either laughed or acted scared since she was like 4 months old. That's frightening.
Yeah, that is
like,
frightening. We know a lot of people with babies, and we haven't had any activity like that reported to us where we can be like, oh, that's normal. Like kids seeing stuff every now and then is normal. That is slightly terrifying.
I mean, I can get kids having the imaginary friends and things like that, but when they're babies and they don't have that capacity to make up imaginary friends yet.
Yeah, when they haven't really learned to lie yet, that's something too. Like you talk to parents like who remember when their kids like learned to lie and started like deceiving them about certain things. Mm-hmm. But it's like before you learn to lie, when you say that you're seeing things, like that's terrifying. Like your kid is not doing something that's like purposely deceptive or making up a story or being fictitious. It's like that's really, really creepy to think of it that way. It's like your kid hasn't learned to lie yet, but they're saying that they see something in front of them.
I know a lot of you guys that are with us right now have kids, and I'm just wondering if they all have imaginary friends. I think that'd be really interesting to know.
I don't know about all have them, but I definitely know that some of them have them. Because some of our audience has told us, like, yeah, our kids have imaginary friends before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
We've had people message us and let us know, like, yeah, my kid has an imaginary friend. And of course, Ryan, 5-year-old niece of Robin, has an imaginary friend. And I think that's why kids freak me out so much, is because they still have that creativity in them where they're like, I'm going to make up this person and I'm going to give them a whole life and I'm going to give them jobs and I'm going to give them like personalities and preferences. And when they start not liking things, like that's when like imaginary friends get creepy. It's like if you have an imaginary friend, you figure it'd all be positive stuff, or it would match the dislikes of like your kid. But if your kid is like, yeah, I want to do this, but they won't let me because they don't like it, then it starts seeming like that seems like a different person than someone coming from the imagination of my child. I
was totally on the idea path that it was like, oh man, broccoli, I'd love to eat that, Mom, but so and so hates it, so it's not gonna happen.
No, I mean, like, if the kid likes something and then they say they're not allowed to do it because their imaginary friend told them not to, that's when it gets creepy for me. Looking over here, it says Leo Chacha says maybe McDuck is haunted. That's creepy. I don't think so. I think he's really shittily built and he doesn't stand up well. That's what I think. I think the back of his head is really heavy.
Get the design together,
and he
Funko.
tips over. Yeah, Funko. What the hell is wrong with you? You funked that one up. Oh. That's the worst joke I've ever made on the show.
No, I mean, all kids are different. You know what I mean? So some of them, maybe they are ghosts. Jaxie Babe says, I've low-key always believed imaginary friends are ghosts. And I could see that. There was some story, I don't know if we read it on the show before, but there was a story that I either heard or we read or something where the kid was like, so-and-so, and it was like a name of their uncle that they had never met. I think we read it on the show.
I'm pretty sure those names.
Yeah, where it was like the uncle that they had never met, but they're like, so-and-so is like, it was telling you to put your seatbelt on, or that I should put my seatbelt on before we go anywhere because he doesn't like. And
that they had died in a car accident or something like that. I do remember that one. Yeah.
And stuff like that, I think, makes it seem like they are ghosts. So, I don't know.
We've done like past lives before where a kid talked about how he was murdered by someone in a village and like there was someone there to document it. And even though that happened, people are still skeptical. Like it was clearly all made up still, even though there was like 90 witnesses and the kid was like 3 years old and just learned to talk and identified his murderer and located his body and the murder weapon and all that stuff. But yeah. I think that shit's real. I think to a degree, there's a lot of cases in which kids are very creative and they talk about where they used to live or what they used to be or what they used to do when they were older.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when they're young. And then like there's just this period where they stop doing it and then they completely forget they ever did it. It's like they forget whatever like past life syndrome was happening to them. And that shit's so creepy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look over here and read some more of this. I see Glitch Grim responding to the story that I had read said, so heavy, so fast. And Akbar said, I know, right? And it was, we opened up with a very heavy one. So Wendy over there in YouTube chat says, hi guys, watching y'all while I move into my new house. It's so stressful, but this is my happy place.
Aw, thank you.
I'm glad we're your happy place, and moving is stressful, but when you're moving into a new place and you get to like start arranging stuff and the room starts coming together, it's kind of an exciting feeling. I get my second wind when I realize like this is starting to look like a room I'm going to spend my time in.
I have fun rearranging. I like living in a room for so long and then being like, I don't like how it's laid out. Like, I just want to rearrange everything.
She really enjoys rearranging the mugs that I had in front of my computer and just being like, no, we're going to do something different. It's like, I really liked my mugs, and now I don't get to have them up. I'm pretty sure you're drinking out of one of them now.
I'm drinking out of it now, so
now it's rearranged, and I have the Honeydukes thing, and not enough stuff to hide the cords, like, behind my computer, but still, I was just like, we were, like, about to go live, too, and she started rearranging stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this right now? Like, you're killing me.
I really like Starbucks' like, You Are Here series of mugs from Disneyland. So I really wanted to drink out of it for once.
That's funny.
Instead of just having it sit on the desk, because it has the Haunted Mansion and Pirates on it.
It's also very full. I'm looking at the projector and I can see your coffee like wobbling like around.
I think, did I spill coffee on here
already?
Oh
yeah, there's stains all over there on that side.
Yeah. This is like a big BlizzCon, like giant mouse.
It's the table mat or the desk mat instead of just a mouse pad. It's very colorful, so I usually try and block the view of it. I'll bring my, you know what? I'm not going to mess with anything because it'll just turn off the stream if I touch anything the wrong way. Looking over here, Akbar says, make sure to sage it in reference to the new house. That's a good idea. And also saying that my arms went up in class when I called out for the spirit bomb from my mom.
Oh, cute.
Critias says, I just started rewatching Supernatural, LOL. We just got to the point where we've passed the thing that I know is the last thing Robin saw. Because I remember Robin watching it on the DVR, and it was the 10th season, and I now know that. And I remember the end of the season, because I was like, so they've doomed the world, basically? Which isn't a spoiler. They do it basically at the end of every fucking season. It's just so annoying. But we watched it, and we got to season 11, and I was like, I can now confirm you've never seen these episodes. So these are brand new for both of us, and we'll see where they go. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not.
I am a little annoyed right now because I'm wearing MAC lipstick and I haven't worn MAC lipstick in a really long time, and it's coming off on everything.
It's on both of your glasses.
And that never happened. I've been using I think I've been using like an Estee Lauder one, and they last forever. And I'm using this MAC one, and I'm just like, what the F? Like, these cups, it looks like huge chunks of lipstick
It looks like
everywhere.
you've made out with your cups.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm just looking at these and I'm so annoyed. I don't know. Sorry,
Leo
Rand.
Chacha says, I had an imaginary friend when I was a kid. And Akbar said, same. Akbar said a talking blue rock. So their imaginary friend wasn't necessarily a person. It was an inanimate object.
Zora said, I never had an imaginary friend, but I used to have reoccurring dreams of the same boy. Not someone I knew in real life, but a random boy that was the same every single time. That's kind of cool because it's like maybe, you know how, more nerd references, but Scott Pilgrim has the superhighway in your mind.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe it's something like that. You know, I don't know. I think it's that idea is
so
cool.
She saw him on the way to work or something like that every night
Yep.
that she slept.
Delivering for Amazon.ca.
It's weird to think that when you sleep, though, your brain creates randomly generated people or people that you've noticed during your day that were like so easily forgotten. Your brain like logged them down as like Caucasian male 62, and they pop in your brain and you don't recognize them as having seen them before. It's like your brain is just like filling out your dreams to like make sure there are people there. And then there's those times where you dream and the person that you see you've never seen before in your life, but you know them. That's really creepy when you wake up and you're like, I don't know who it was, but they're like my best friend. Like in my brain, it's like parallel universe, that was your best friend. Or past life, that was your best friend. So I don't know. Dreams are super, super weird.
The Snark said, I had an imaginary friend when I was a kid and I only spoke to them in Vietnamese for some reason.
Wow.
I speak to people in Japanese in my brain sometimes, and like when I dream, I speak to them in Japanese, and I'm like, how do I know this? This can't be right.
I have something similar. I speak in English. I also speak a language, so it's like we're all the same.
Let's see. Raisin Rebel says, I actually didn't know imaginary friends were a real thing because I thought they were only in movies. That's funny.
I didn't really know anyone that had one, but like I always just assumed that it was like when you're a kid and like you make believe, like you play with friends, like you play like cops and robbers or cowboys and Indians, which is like offensive, but like you make up an enemy and you're shooting at something that's fake if you don't have enough people to play both sides. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like I just always imagined that it was like something like that where you're playing because you don't have anyone to play with, so you make up like a partner or a bad guy or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. It's so frequent and like they get so in depth and there's so many details about them.
Yeah.
And they always seem like they're grown-ups. Like there's a lot of times where imaginary friends are kids too. But all the people that let us know like, oh, I had an imaginary friend, it's like typically
adults.
an adult. Yeah, which is just really odd.
Yeah.
So
those I think are fucking ghosts.
Yeah, I
those
do too.
have to be ghosts.
There's a talking rock that we just heard about over on YouTube. So who knows what that is? It's probably an alien. Let's be real.
Jaxie Babe says, remember the Beast of Bray Road? Because I have a story about that. Send us your story about
please.
the Beast of Bray Road.
We
That'd
love
be great.
getting stories about the topics we've covered.
Swazzle says that they're actually concerned about their daughter experiencing sleep paralysis. Wow, her father had a lot of sleep paralysis, which is scary. And she talks about the witch. So
that's so creepy.
That's frightening. And it just definitely reminds me of that Maggie Q movie.
You keep bringing it up.
I know.
And you keep forgetting it's Slumber is the name of it.
It's Slumber. Yes, that one.
Slumber Down Umber.
Yeah, where the daughter starts singing the song.
It's just called Slumber. It's not called Down Umber. No one would call it that.
Okay. Chessie Cat used to have a lot of imaginary friends. I had an entire group of dogs. That's hilarious.
Critia says, I never had one and never heard of it until I came to the U.S.
What?
That's interesting. Akbar says, I'm from the Philippines and they had the talking blue rock. So, boom. International audience letting us know.
I can't believe how many imaginary friends and things like that. The fact that Critia didn't even have any until she came over here is crazy. It's like, what are the odds?
Wendy says, don't they say that every person you see in your dreams, you've seen them in real life? They do. And like that's why I think it's so weird that you can see a person in real life and your brain like snapshots them. You won't remember it consciously, but they'll just make an appearance in your dream as like teller at the bank that you're checking out gummy bears from, because nothing's ever like makes sense in your dreams. It's always really weird. I don't really
pay attention to the people that handle my money at the bank.
There's people in your dreams and they don't like spark. I shouldn't say spark joy. They don't spark a memory. I was about to say spark joy because we say that about everything. They're just like they're filling characters. You know what I mean? They're extras that your brain is just like conjured up out of your memory. But it's just a weird thing to me that happens. So. Right on. I have nothing left in my YouTube chat. So.
Zora says the thing about the boy that was reoccurring in their dream was that the kid grew up as they grew up. So
that's super weird.
That's kind of interesting.
That's very interesting.
It makes me wonder what you guys did in your dreams. Like if you went around, like Adam was saying, like if they were your best friend in your dream, you know what I mean? So anyway, all right, your turn.
Cool. So I'm going to move on to my second and final email of the evening.
This is going by so fast.
It is much shorter. But hey, this is just something we're going to do. I mean, we might switch back to 6. We're just testing out the format. Because let's be real, like, a lot of the live episodes have been lasting between
2 hours.
2 to 2.5, sometimes even 3 hours, like close to 3 hours. And we do want to kind of narrow that down. And we're having Storytime episodes that last over an hour. Which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but we're burning through the stories that we have.
I had my midterm today, so I'm not worried about a long episode.
Right on.
Kill me.
She's worried about other things, so I'm sure it wasn't as bad as it feels like it was.
It was horrible. It was mechanics and materials, and I did not do well. I already know.
I don't think it's going to be that bad. I'm not saying I think it's going to be great. I'm just saying I think it's going to come back here and be like, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And my fingers are crossed for that, so cross your fingers as well, folks. But I am going to move on to my second one of the evening.
All right.
And this one's subject is My Haunted House, which is a pretty solid subject.
Baby, you're a haunted house.
I knew it. I knew you were going to do it.
I love that song. Okay. If you like Gerard Way, you have to hear that song. It's one of his newer releases. It's called Baby, You're a Haunted House, and it's cute. I just think it's nice and catchy and adorable.
I will say, and I'm just gonna take a quick side break here. We watched all of Umbrella Academy. I think we noted that. I don't think we gave it enough credit for how good of a show it is in relation to the music that plays during the entire show.
I made an entire playlist dedicated to it. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about on the air when we talked about it.
Oh.
In reference to the last time we talked about it. Yeah, so I'm just saying that, like, it's not just a good show. Like, it really is, like, told really well with music involved, and that's not shocking because it's Gerard Way's story. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I kind of want to watch it again. I know Ralph, who's going to be on the show soon,
watch it again.
Said he's
100%.
on his second watch through of the show. So I really feel like I need to start watching Game of Thrones again to get refreshed, since it's all gonna end. They released that new trailer, I think, yesterday. And yeah, I'm pretty effing stoked for that. Game of Thrones isn't exactly horror, so it's not exactly a thing we normally talk about. It is a pop culture sensation, and I'm just saying, my theory, everyone is gonna die. They're all gonna die.
I want Tormund to live. Tormund is one of my absolute favorite characters. I think he's absolutely hilarious, and I love him and his silly ginger beard. And Godric. No, not Podrick.
Podrick?
No. What is it? Gendry.
Gendry. Okay.
I was mixing up the two characters because they're both characters that aren't in it very much. But
I like that Gendry's come back for the final season for the war.
His hammer is sick.
It's a war hammer. His dad had a war
goodness.
hammer. If you read the books, his dad was 6'6". He was a monster of a man, and he went into war wielding a war hammer. And like the battle of, I think it's like the Battle of the Trident, is where the war initially ended back in the day when Robert fought Rhaegar. And he killed Rhaegar in the Trident, and then they marched on the capital. And it's just so cool, man. I'm so excited. And just a spoiler alert, if anyone's watching Game of Thrones for the first time now, skip forward 60 seconds. Let's say 60 just to be safe. Rhaegar is Jon Snow's dad. And there's that picture in the trailer. I'm going really off like the fucking mark here, but there's a picture in the trailer of Daenerys and Jon standing next to the two dragons, and the one he's standing in front of is the one that's named after his dad. So I totally think he's gonna ride that fucking dragon.
He has to.
I'm so excited for Game of Thrones.
The fact
folks.
that he and Dany were like in front of the two dragons together, they have to ride them together. It has to be a thing, because why else would they both be there?
Yeah.
Anyways,
there's an email here that I started to read, and I left off on this part. Hi. I left off on the very beginning. Hello. Apologies. Someone out there wrote this, and they heard me start reading it, and they're like, oh, that's my email. And they're like, yeah, Game of Thrones is cool. Shut up and read my email. So I'm going to do that now.
Shut up and let me go.
It keeps going. You can share these stories on the podcasts. My name is Peyton, and I recently just found you guys while I was looking for some podcasts to listen to. I instantly love the podcast and who you guys are as people. That's really, really nice.
That's very nice, because sometimes I don't feel that way.
Sometimes people are like, I like your podcast. Not you, though. No one's ever actually said that.
No one's actually said that.
Please don't say that either.
Yes.
Anyway, it literally says that.
Feelings.
That's built in there because they knew we were going to sidetrack tangent. Anyway, I am 16 and my parents are divorced and I have 6 siblings. That gives you a pretty good picture of who this person is to start out with. They're younger. Okay. They have 6 siblings. That's a lot of siblings.
That is a lot.
And your parents are divorced.
What's funny is that we're totally not in the generation where people have 6 kids anymore.
I know.
But our parents, like our grandparents, all had a million kids.
I know. I love big family. I mean, I grew up on big families on both sides of my family, so I understand that mindset. But like my parents had 2 kids, me and my brother.
Now we're gonna pop out just 1 or 2. Too old.
1, 2, 6. We'll see.
No.
Okay, getting back to it. My brother and I are convinced that my dad's house is haunted. His house was built in the 1800s and has a tunnel in the basement that was filled with rocks. Wow. That's an old-ass house, especially if you're living in the States. There's
filled
also...
with rocks.
What? It's like they filled it in. That's what it sounds like to me.
Who fills up their basement with rocks?
No. Not their basement. The tunnel in the basement has been filled up with rocks.
Okay. Oh, so it's like you can't get in there anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they filled it in so you can't use it anymore.
Cool.
That's at least what it sounds like to me. There is also a little hidden room behind the staircase that looks like somewhere you would hide things.
Like Harry Potter.
I thought Harry Potter too. So my family and I are convinced
2 episodes in a row.
My family and I are convinced that it is a part of the Underground Railroad. That's super cool.
That is
You should
really
do some
cool.
serious research and see if
Yes.
there's history to your home, because
should
that would be
totally do
amazing.
that.
All right, enough with the history and on to the stories. One night I was laying in bed on my computer watching YouTube, as all 16-year-olds do.
I mean, I go down YouTube holes at work all the time.
Sounds really gross, but I totally understand it. I go down YouTube holes all the time too. All of a sudden, I started to hear weird tapping behind my wall, which is odd because I have an attic space that connects to my room. I thought it was just an old house noise, so I ignored it and went back to watching YouTube. Solid reaction to that, to not overreact immediately. I'm sure it's going to be something awful after that.
And then demons.
2 minutes later, I heard a big bang right next to my head that scared the crap out of me.
And then Sheldon came and started talking to you.
He was like, bazinga. I turned and faced the wall, and it all went quiet. A week later, I was in my room getting ready to fall asleep. I always face the wall because I'm afraid of having sleep paralysis. My thought process is if I have sleep paralysis and something shows up in my room, I do not want to see it.
That's a legit solid thing.
That's a strategy, yeah.
But see, I would do the same thing where I would sleep and turn towards the wall because I don't want to see something standing in front of me. If I wake up from a nightmare or something and it's right there, I don't want to see it. But if I'm facing the wall, I don't have to worry about it. What are they going to do? Stand inside the wall?
I'm not trying to trigger anything, but I'm just saying that I feel like if something really wanted to haunt you while you couldn't move, it would slide between you and the wall, and all you'd see, your field of vision would be nothing but dancing demon, just being like, "Hi." I'm just picturing that dancing demon that everyone posts in the Scary Spooky Friends
Brittany,
group.
Bitch.
That's so funny. I want to say this just as a side note. People post stuff in the Scary Spooky Friends group, and I'll look at it and be like, "That's awesome," and I hit like or I laugh at it or whatever the case may be, and then 60 seconds to 3 hours later, a lot of the times people post it again. It's a different person posting it, and I feel like someone goes into their feed, sees it, and that's so funny, and they don't check to see if
Who posted it.
If they're posting it to the place that it was already posted, and I'm just like, I'm gonna click like again.
My friend Rothman, I love him, but it was just there was one instance that made me laugh so hard because he's like, "Oh my god, I need to show you this video of this amazing gift wrapping stuff," and I was like, "Who posted it?" And he scrolled up and it was me.
It's like, oh.
I was just like, "You're welcome."
There's sometimes where I show Robin something that I haven't noticed that it says that she's already clicked like on it, so she's already seen it. But I don't think I've done that where I've shown you something that you posted. So that's really funny, though. Okay, so they're sleeping facing the wall so they don't have to see something if it shows up. Pretty good. Anyways. Another anyways put in there because they knew that we were going to do that. Anyways.
You guys are so smart.
Yeah,
because,
you know us.
Yeah, there are so many emails that have the intro and then it says anyways because we're going to go on a tangent.
Yeah, we're just going to talk a bunch of bullshit.
And we can't help it. It's just what my mind does.
So anyways, I was about to fall asleep when all of a sudden, if you're not watching right now and you heard a noise, it was her striking me. When all of a sudden I saw a shadow out of the corner of my eye. I was frozen with fear, and I did not know what to do. With at least a minute of me looking at this figure, it ran towards me. I quickly hit on the light, and it was gone. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. That's pretty effed up. This last story happened about 3 nights after the shadow ran at me. Shout out to Sadlow1204, who has just followed us on Twitch. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
So this has happened, it looks like, 3 nights after the shadow ran at this person. I quickly... No. I already read that. We're good. So, let's get back on track here. I got sidetracked. My bad, dogs. What's that? Sidetrack music?
Yeah. Some filler for you trying to figure out your spot.
You just distracted me even more. So, okay. The thing ran at them. The last story is about what happened 3 nights after the shadow showed up. I was talking with one of my friends over FaceTime, as 16-year-olds will do.
I didn't have FaceTime as a 16-year-old.
I didn't either. I had AOL Instant Messenger.
I had MySpace.
I was like, I'm going to update my About Me with some cool-ass quotes.
I was too busy figuring out who my top 8 friends were.
That's messed up. that Tom made you pick your top 8 friends, and then he like switched it to top 32, so you didn't have to make anyone mad. And then if you had a friend who didn't make your top 32, I'm pretty sure you just stopped talking to them.
I learned how to use HTML because of MySpace.
Lots of people did.
And I would create like custom top 8. So I'd take my friends' pictures and crop them and make them all nice and pretty and have them like nicely like organized. It was fun, but like. I mean, same with LiveJournal.
A lot of people put a lot of work. A lot of people put a lot of work into their MySpace pages. Then Facebook came out, and they're just like, you know what? F that.
Remember, like when you put MIDI on your page and stuff like that.
Shout out to, and you could pick a song that played when someone went to your page, and everyone's like, "What do I want my song to be? What song is me?" What was your song, Robin?
I don't know. I was like 15. I don't know.
Mine was all these things that I've done. Shout out to Lexus B, who just subscribed over on YouTube. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
While we were talking about how our day was going, my inhaler, and in parentheses, I have asthma. Shout out to asthma. I used to have it too.
Don't shout out to asthma. Asthma, get the fuck
Shout out to asthma people. My bad. Shout out to Swazzles, who just resubscribed for the 5th month in a row. The message is heart, heart. So heart to you as well. Okay, I'm going to read this sentence over like since it's been interrupted. I guess this is a heart. Robin just told me that if you take your thumb and your forefinger and you cross them at the tips, it makes a heart. I don't know how that looks. To me, it just looks like my two fat sausage ring fingers
it's like a K-pop
mashing together. I'm doing it right?
My fingers are too chubby. My fingers are chubby, though, so it doesn't look cute. It just looks like, I don't know.
Mine just looks like an amorphous blob. That means I love you. So while we were talking about how our day was going, my inhaler was thrown across my desk and fell on the floor. I hung up on my friend and went to see where it landed. You should have stayed on FaceTime with them just in case you got murdered, that there would be a witness. I then heard footsteps outside my door. I stood there just listening and heard a click. It sounded like my hallway light being turned on. Better on than off. So I opened my door a crack and saw the light on. It wouldn't make sense for one of my many siblings to turn it on because the footsteps would have continued, not just stopped. That's pretty good deductive reasoning right there. So at this point, I was so done with paranormal crap, so I just tried my best to go to bed. The next morning, my brother asked me if I heard footsteps, and I told him yes. The next thing he told me gave me the chills. The chills, chicken skin, goosebumps, whatever you want to call them.
So many different terms.
He said he heard someone playing with his latch. I'm guessing like to his door to get in.
That's like, I would panic.
He said at the disco, he said something kept moving it up and down. These events kept occurring between 11 at night and 4 in the morning.
No.
We both tried to keep an ear out the next night.
For so long, all night.
We both tried to keep an ear out the next night, but nothing happened. I do have more stories like this about my dad's old house. If you want some, just email me. We will email you directly after this. Well, thank you guys so much for your amazing podcast. By the way, sorry if this was a little long. Never worry if it's a little long. Tell us the story in your words, and if it's long, no big deal. We're still going to read it. So thank you very much for sending that. That's super, super creepy.
Yeah.
It's nothing like dealing with something paranormal on your own and feeling isolated, and you think validation from someone else telling you they're experiencing the same thing is going to make you feel better. It just confirms that there's something creepy going on, and it just makes you feel even more paranoid. Like, you might have someone to share that burden with now, so you're like, hooray, the house is haunted. Like, it's just a whole new level of creepiness when that happens. So you have 6 siblings, though, so maybe it'll haunt one of them and leave you be. Fingers crossed. Watch Paranormal Activity 2. I think they, like, enchant a cross and give it to one of their siblings, and that's what happens. That's what happens. Paranormal Activity 2 is set before Paranormal Activity 1, and the events that wrap up at the end of Paranormal Activity 2 cause Paranormal Activity 1. Spoiler alerts if you haven't seen them. They're like 15 years old, and they're not that good anyways. So, little bit of inspiration for you if the thing won't leave you alone. Please don't do that, by the way. Don't make someone else get haunted. Try and deal with it in a better way. I don't know what to suggest.
Oh, are you talking about the fact that she, like, made her sister haunted in Paranormal Activity?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Spoilers.
She cursed a cross and then gave the cross to her sister, and that cross is, if you watch Paranormal Activity 1, it's a cross that they have in their house.
Okay. I thought it had to do with, like, because up in their attic, spoilers, if you don't want to know the end of the stupid movie.
The burnt picture?
The picture in the attic of her sister.
That's also one of the things that they do, yeah. Because they put the cross on, okay, this is just straight up spoiler territory. They put the cross on the possessed party, and the whole house shakes, and then it finally stops, and it just seems like the cross, then they of course then give that to the sister. It's like, let it haunt you instead. And then, like, the further ones try and, like, make it all about, like, a witch's coven and bringing a demon to life.
Travel.
There was time travel. It gets really, really fucking wacky and silly, and it's like, it's still creepy. There's still a solid jump scare movies.
It started to not be scary anymore once they added that where the kids in, I don't know if it was in California or was it Mexico?
I don't know.
Where they had a
The
portal.
one where they finally do poor people having paranormal activity happen to them instead of super rich white people that have cameras all over their houses.
Yeah, and they find a portal and they go through this portal and they end up in the first movie.
Yeah, that's, I think, the second to last one. They also time travel in the last one that came out. I don't want to spoil everything for you guys. I'm just going to tell you it's really effing lame.
Yeah. The last one is the one with the little kid in the tent, right?
I don't know. There's been kids in tents in so many movies I can't keep track of.
I don't want to get one of those for my kids.
My kids will not have a teepee. That's not happening.
No
if they're like, Dad, I want a teepee, I'm like, tell that demon who told you want a teepee. I said no.
Adam's friend posted a picture on Facebook of her getting her kids a little teepee. And I was just like, why would you do this?
Unfriend. I'll see you at your funeral, bro.
All right. Anyway.
Let's look over into stream chat and see what you folks had to say.
All right. So Chessy Cat says, random side story. My roommate is a student teaching, and today the kids had to make sentences with words they were given. This little boy got up and his sentence was, yesterday I saw a man on top of my mom.
Wow.
What?
What was the word they were given?
I don't know. Let's see.
That mom is busted.
Then a bunch of talk about Game of Thrones.
Someone I know from a car company that I used to work for that I will not name, Tesla, posted on their Facebook and said that they're at the gym and they're wearing their Tesla shirt. And someone came up to them and said, hey, I have a Model 3. I wanted to know, does it have any cameras inside the car that can show you who's in the passenger seat, or are there any sensors to let someone know that someone's sitting in there? And she looked very concerned, just staring at her. And the chick told her flat out, like, no, it's okay. Your husband won't know if you're cheating on him. And she goes, good, and walked away. I was just like, that is
Shut up.
such a fucked up thing to say to a stranger in the gym. Like, hey, my side piece gets into my husband's Tesla Model 3 a lot. Does it have a camera to let him know he's there, or a sensor to be like, side dick sensor tripped? And she was like, no, it doesn't have anything like that.
That's messed up, though.
Shout out to Elon. Maybe you should put that as a feature in the next, I don't know. They just announced the Model Y.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I do want a Tesla, though.
I want a car. I want an electric car. They're very, very nice cars. They're just expensive. We can't afford one. You know
I've just been watching videos on Teslas recently, and so I'm just like, I need this in my life. I mean, hook it up, Elon. I'd love one. Thanks.
I like that you're saying hook it up when I used to work there for 3 years. So, all right, let's look over into the stream chat and see what
lots
we
to
got.
talk about Game of Thrones. Chessy Cat's like, it's funny how everyone was like, ew, Cersei and Jaime, and then they all shipped Jon and Dany.
I mean, people ship Sam and Dean. So when people are like, ew, Jaime, Cersei, that's the thing, man.
Or Bucky and Captain America.
I hate that.
Steve
so
Bucky.
Here's the thing. Jaime and Cersei is like pure evil. When Jaime in that trailer is like, I made a promise to fight for the living and I intend to keep it. If you freeze frame that, he's in Winterfell. That dude goes to Winterfell to fight. He is my absolute favorite character. He has the most depth of pretty much any character I've ever read.
How do you think he makes stuff work with his metal hand?
I don't know. It's probably very painful. I'm thinking of masturbation, obviously.
Me too. High five.
There you go. Make stuff work. So now you know where our heads are at.
Thank you for joining us, Ralph. Sorry that this is a weird point in the show. Sora says, I asked my dad if he had ever had sleep paralysis, and he told me his story. He's not much of a storyteller, but he said that when he was in college, he woke up in the middle of the night facing the wall, and he couldn't move, but he could hear something in the room. And then he said it started growling, and he didn't own a dog in college.
Wow.
He said it was growling super angrily and paced in his room, but he couldn't turn around to see it, and eventually just fell back asleep. It's
really terrifying to fall back asleep thinking you're about to be a meal.
Right.
Like when you were reading that, I don't know why, I had the feeling of like a snout on the back of my neck and then feeling like the hot breath of an animal breathing out, like blowing like at your neck hair.
Yeah.
Like knowing something's right behind you. That's just terrifying. I don't know why I just did that to myself.
My sister, my younger sister, I'm sure I've brought it up before, but she told me there was an instance where she was home alone and she took a nap on the couch and
Joe Pesci showed up, that fucking guy, every time someone's home alone, him and Daniel Stern, those damn wet bandits. Or sticky bandits, if you like the second one better.
It's funny because whenever I think of tall, lanky, like bad guys, I think of Hugh Laurie in 101 Dalmatians.
Hugh Laurie's in 101? Oh, I think of the cartoon. You always think of the live action.
Yeah.
Bleh.
Anyway, no, my sister was home alone, took a nap, had the TV on, and I guess she was taking a nap, and she kind of woke up to seeing shadows because she was facing towards the couch, but she could see shadows in front of her, like walking back and forth or something. And she swears that she heard someone talking or something like that. I don't know. But if I were home alone and that happened to me, I would freak out.
If I was home alone and I heard someone talking, I would just throw punches around every corner as I investigated to find who it was. And probably wind up punching someone I knew who just came over to say hi.
All right.
So Akbar says, even as a teacher, I still have my examinations next week. That is super stressful. Glitch says, the soundtrack was amazing, clearly referencing Umbrella Academy. Critia says, the musics were amazing in the Umbrella Academy. I totally agree. Akbar says, children behave. That's what they say. Children are also liars. Once they learn to lie, it's like a drug for a kid. It's like all they want to do. Ralph also joined over on YouTube, so shout out to Ralph. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, he said Twitch wasn't working out.
It's so annoying. What else we got over here? Scrolling a little bit. Akbar says, when I have sleep paralysis, I send love to the beast in my nightmares. It somewhat works. That's kind of good, like making peace with it.
Yeah, it's like making friends with them and being like, oh, no, bro, it's all good.
How you doing, man? It's like Scott Pilgrim. We're going to go back to that again. When he fights the second X, which is Chris Evans.
Nega Scott.
And he throws him into the castle wall, and he hits.
I see, okay.
You basically think he's going to beat Scott to death, and then he stops and he sees Ramon. He's like, what's up? How's life? He seems nice. It's just like that brief pause between enemies where it's like you just be cordial. I think it would be cool if you could do that. Like, there's a picture, a still from the set of the next It Chapter 2, where it's Bill Hader.
You already seen stuff?
Yeah, where it's Bill Hader and he's like getting scared by it. But there's also a picture of him talking to Pennywise the Clown. And I'm like, I don't know if that was like between takes where he's just talking to a fellow actor, or if I really hope there's a part between the comedian, because Bill Hader's character is Richie, and he comes back as like a professional comedian later on in the movie. Like, spoiler alerts, doesn't really matter. I just hope it says something like really funny, like Pennywise cracks a really good joke, and I just really want it to be like Richie being like all scary stuff aside, that was a really good joke. Like, I just hope they have one quick moment of like peace between them, and then Pennywise is like, okay, now you're gonna die, and then he runs away screaming. Like, I would write that in there. I just like brief humor like that kind of like the comic relief that kind of breaks the tension. That's the way I prefer for it to be done.
All right. Raisin Rebel says, my worst nightmare as a kid was the exorcist girl laying on her side staring at me from the wall, from inside the wall.
That's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
Critia says, that portal was creepy, and then we shit all over it, and they go, or not. I did not like the time travel aspect. I was like, let this just be a horror movie. I don't need to see them teleport into like another version of like the world, and like they were present with this person. I don't know. It just seemed really weird.
Jaxie said, the worst nightmare I ever had was dreaming of my dad's accident the night before it happened.
Aww.
That's intense.
That's super sad.
Yeah, that's super sad.
Flora over on YouTube says, you guys should do another meetup. We are going to do another meetup. We're discussing locations and dates right now. And on top of that, we're discussing finalizing the dates for Winchester Mansion.
Yes.
We got to purchase airfare because we want to make sure we nail down the dates before we give them to you.
Yes, because I have a baby birthday that we need to go to too, that I need to figure out.
A baby birthday?
Yeah, baby birthday. First birthday.
We'll figure it out, but we're gonna nail those dates down probably by the end of this week. So look for an announcement probably by Friday.
Zwalzel says, my instant thought isn't seeing a demon dancing between me and the wall. It's opening my eyes and expecting the wall, and instead seeing a toothy, sinister smile. That's frightening. Yeah.
I said dancing demon just because I tried to make it funnier, not as terrifying.
Zora says, MySpace made us all into beginner coders. Looking back, I wish I took that somewhere. Could be making much more money.
No one uses HTML anymore. It's a shame.
It's all, what is it called?
CSS or JavaScript CSS. Or any of that stuff.
I have tried to take a Ruby class in coding, and I wasn't bad at it. My only problem was that I had too many classes all at once, and that class took hours out of my day to code how to make a business card in code. It was so difficult.
It's a lot of stuff.
It is a lot of stuff.
It's kind of like, I don't know how they teach math nowadays, but when I was taught math when I was growing up, they teach you the long way to do something, and then they teach you the shortcuts. They do that a lot in coding, or at least in the coding classes that I was in, where they teach you the super long way so that you know the fundamentals if you need to fall back on them before they teach you the shortcuts, which don't always work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because coding, it's a very hard thing to do in college
very
unless
delicate.
You have a ton of time. Looking over, Lexus B says, my new roommate told me that she hated my bedroom last year in the doors because it always creeped her out. Please tell me why I hated being in there alone. Sleeping was hell.
That's scary.
Yeah, and she meant dorms, not doors. Yeah, if someone told me, like, I hate your room, I'd be like, thanks. Like, that's creepy to hear.
I hate you.
Right? I hate your face. How about that? Me and my haunted room don't like you, bitch. And you high-five the ghost from your dorm.
Just like this.
If you, what would be so cool is if you made a connection so strong.
If I had felt somebody like high-five me, I would have shit my
I would say
pants.
it would be so cool if you made a connection so strong between worlds or realms or whatever that when you went to high-five your ghost, you could hear like, and you're like, did that just happen? We both hate you. Did we just become best friends?
The Snark says, I feel like this podcast has thwarted a lot of demon attempts to isolate and torment people. I think that's great. If that's true, then yes, I hope so, because I like the community we've built, and everybody should be friends. Just
I agree.
Saying.
Positivity and love, I feel, drive off. Good vibes drive off negative things. And I think that's just something you see if you're reading The Secret, which I've never done, where it's just like putting out positivity. It doesn't necessarily attract positivity to you. It's just like negative people don't want to be around positive people because they're like, they harsh my vibe. I'm busy hating everything and being cynical and a dick, and they just want to be happy, and I can't stand it. So it's like, I don't know. I imagine that works when it comes to just about anything. So
Zwazzle says for Paranormal Activity that the photo was burned by them in the second movie, and that's why they found it burned in the first movie.
So, yeah,
I don't remember. Like
the second one is technically a prequel.
Okay.
Second one's almost entire thing is a prequel. After they get the demon out of her, they give the picture and that cross to the sister. And in the first movie, you see the picture, which is above the bed, and they have the cross. And at some point, the boyfriend's like, "Fuck this," and he throws the cross in the fire. And things get worse after that. And then the end of the second movie, it time skips past when what's-her-face wound up getting possessed and disappearing. And the end of the second movie is the sister who's become possessed shows up and kills everyone and kidnaps the kid.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Super spoilers.
Spooky Zora says the first one was the best. I agree.
Agreed.
Chessie Cat says, I started watching it, but I wasn't paying attention, so I never finished. Which is the one with the kid that talks to the demon with... They get like an Xbox Connect. And they can turn.
It's like the fourth or fifth one.
Yeah.
They turn on the thing where you can see the
dots
on everything, and
then you see
someone's
the shape.
That's a really good. That's a really good product placement.
Yes.
Glitch over on YouTube says, I wonder if they are friends with the monster under their bed. I heard that in Rihanna's voice. Pretty good. And this is another really good joke from Glitch. It Chapter 2, also known as It. Pretty good shit.
Spooky Zora says the scene where the blankets are slowly pulled off the bed will forever haunt me. Yeah. That's always one of the scarier parts.
Shout out to the Snark. Did you subscribe with their Amazon Prime?
You so
we love
much.
you, the Snark. We got to hang out. Yeah, the first one, Paranormal Activity, I saw it with my buddy Lee. I think I've mentioned this on the show before, and I used to sleepwalk. And I used to hear stories about how I used to like stop and stare at people for hours, where they'd realize I'd been standing there for a long time and they'd freak out. So when they showed her starting to get possessed, where she just stare at him,
and then the time you see like the time.
I was like, oh, this is fucking with me. Like
Yeah.
I don't like this at all. And then like the blanket would slowly get pulled, the blanket would get yanked, and like you're getting creeped out. The best thing about that movie is that it escalates, and it really set the formula that they would keep repeating for all the other ones. But that first one, where it's like it escalates, it escalates, it escalates. And then something happens where it just goes from like, this is creepy to this is terrifying. And it's when it stops pulling the blanket off and you see it grab her leg and her leg moves and it drags her out of the fucking room down the hallway.
Super fast.
When that happened in the movie, I was like, oh shit. Like I was like, this is getting fucking real. Like I really like the first one.
The Snark says 35,000 base model Tesla.
Yep.
I really want one. I did legitimately, when you did work there, I looked it up and I really wanted one, but we're poor as
And they don't offer a employee discount. They offered at the time an employee discount for 2 of the cars, the Model S and the Model whatever the other one is, but the 3 didn't have the discount. They would skip you to the front of the reservation line, but that was just about it. And they just announced the Model Y today. I think it's the Y today.
I want the crossover, the one that's like...
I think that's the X.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's the X.
That one looks so cute.
Anyways.
Sorry, I want one.
Akbar says, I'm friends with a monster under mine. That's good.
Let's see.
So does Glitch.
The Snark says, I don't believe Cersei in Game of Thrones started out evil. She did everything for the good of her insane, twisted children. Joffrey was effed up, man.
Here's the thing. She had good and evil in her. I think when you look back at the flashback when she talks...
After Tommen, she's
just done, yeah.
She's done.
When you look to the flashbacks about how she was as a kid, like she was vicious towards Tyrion the whole time. Like you gotta have to read.
They always hated Tyrion.
Jaime never did. Jaime always treated him like his little brother. Like she always hated Tyrion because she was just like the dad. She just looked at Tyrion as the person who killed her mom.
Yeah.
And she also treated everyone like they were lesser beings because she was, in her mind, destined to marry the prince. And then she talked to the witch. And she asked the witch, when will I marry the prince? And the witch tells her, you will never marry the prince. You will marry the king. And everything the witch tells her has come true. The last thing the witch told her is that the palanquin, I think is what she calls it, which is a term for older brother or younger brother.
We don't
I forget
see
which.
it in the show, right? Only in the...
You do. Actually, at the beginning of one of the seasons, they show you Cersei as a little girl going to meet the witch. And she basically gets told, like, all this shit's going to happen. All of it is done. All of it's already happened in the series. And that you will be murdered by your brother who will choke the life out of you with his bare hands. And so everyone's like, will it be Tyrion or will it be Jaime?
Because they're both her younger brother.
All right, if we're going to get this balls deep into Game of Thrones, I'm just going to toss all this shit out there. So there's supposed to be the hero with the sword, Lightbringer, where it doesn't give off any heat, but it's like the sword that can defeat the night. Whatever. Thank you for Olivia Brown for following us on Twitch. I'm not going to get too balls deep in the whole like thing about what you need to do to become this hero, but basically you have to kill the thing you love the most. It's one of the things you have to do to turn your sword into Lightbringer. The only person who matches both of those is Jaime, because he can kill what's-her-face. He can kill Cersei, and that's the thing he loves the most in the world, thus fulfilling the prophecy for that. Everyone thinks it's going to be Jon Snow. I think it's going to be Jaime.
Now that she's preggers, spoilers if you haven't figured out that
but is
she's
she
pregnant.
Or is she lying? Because she's a fucking liar.
I'm hoping she's not lying.
Cersei's the kind of person who would fake a pregnancy to keep someone by their side.
Like Tag.
Yes. I'm not saying that if you have a miscarriage that like you deserve it. I'm just saying, that that's what you get. If you haven't seen Tag, that movie is hilarious.
It's so good. We watched it all the way through the credits the other day, and at the end
there's like
Jeremy
a 3-minute
Renner's
song
like
sequence
singing, and everyone's like harmonizing. It was the weirdest thing.
It's a fun movie.
Anyway, let's see. Swazzle says the intro to Jaime Cersei love was the direct cause of paralysis to a child. Oh, Bran. Yeah.
Yes.
So even
that's
without
the other thing that's going to happen.
Eh.
Jaime's going into Winterfell knowing full and well he's going to confront the kid he paralyzed and his family that knows he did it. Like, that's balls, man. He's just such a good character. I'm not saying he's a good person. He's just very interesting.
Joffrey was definitely the only one that was crazy.
Joffrey was mad.
Well, because Tommen was fine. He was just absolutely in love with what is her name? Marjorie.
Side note: Natalie Dormier. I think that's how you say her last name. Who played Marjorie? She is hot as fuck. I just saying it. She really is. Robin gives shouts out to Tom Hardy, to David Tennant every episode.
Army Hammer.
Yo, Marjorie, hit me up. See, she just names off another one. I hate you so much.
So, Chester Cat says, I feel like her mother dying when she was so young had something to do with how evil she is.
It is. I mean, there's reasons for every character.
Her dad was definitely a motivation. Person.
Her dad, that's the thing, though. Her dad, if you look up the history, this has become the Game of Thrones podcast, God damn it. The dad was born into the family, and his father was super weak, and House Lannister was a literal joke to everyone. Everyone borrowed from them, everyone owed them money, and everyone literally told them, like, get fucked, we're not paying you, do something about it. When his dad got old enough, he just told him, like, I'm not waiting for you to die. This is my house now. And Castamere House is the first house he went to, and he's like, you owe us money, pay us. And they told him to get fucked. So he brought the Lannister army, and he killed every single one of them to set the standard, like, House Lannister isn't weak anymore. I'm not my dad's son. I'm a new person. And after that, Lannister House rose. So, like, yes, you can say that Tywin is evil, but he's evil for a reason. They all have motivations, and you really see that in the show, which you didn't see it in the book, when Arya talks to Tywin, when Arya is like his handmaiden or whatever, because he respects Arya, because he sees what she's gone through. The best line that entire season, he asks her, like, is your father alive? And Arya says no. And he says, what killed your father? And she says, loyalty. And he looks at her because he realizes, like, you're smarter than you look. Like, Tywin's such a rich character. George R. R. Martin's is a fucking amazing writer. I'm just saying, like, every character you hate has a backstory, and you can understand the motivations for why they behave that way.
All I can hear now, though, is wiener, wiener, wiener.
I hate you so much. All right, I'm going to get through my YouTube shit so you can read your last one of the night. Show, we've reduced the amount of emails we read, so now we're just talking more shit between them.
No. So Ralph asked if Sunday's going to be live. Sunday's not going to be live. We're just going to record our special guest episode on Sunday. And
we're
you
also
guys will
going
be
to
able
have
to
the
watch
YouTube
it.
video that I will dice up on Monday to upload on Tuesday when the episode comes out. All right, Wendy. I've been trying to read this comment. Wendy says The Exorcist freaks me out, and the ventriloquist doll from Dead Silence.
Dead Silence is the one where if you scream, you die.
That is a pretty good movie,
yes,
actually.
I enjoyed that movie, but it was like, why are you screaming? Just shut your mouth.
Right.
Ugh. So
Floor
stupid.
says, will you guys be in the San Diego area or Las Vegas regarding the meetup? Most likely Las Vegas to start. However, we are going to do another Disney meetup sometime very soon.
Yeah, we want to.
Which is not San Diego
Disney.
area.
Yeah,
I know that's
sorry.
the Anaheim area.
You got to drive 2 hours. But we are going to go to San Jose. And I know that's kind of far from San Diego. But
do you know the way?
To San Jose.
To San Jose?
The Snark says, I'm still Team Cersei.
We got some talking, the Snark. We got to sit down and go over this.
I am Team Tormund and Brienne.
Team Jamie, all the way. Critty says the third one was creepy. I don't remember the third Paranormal Activity.
I just love how Tormund always asks, like, where's the big woman?
Yeah. Critty says, yes, the Xbox Kinect. I stopped using mine. I don't want to see anything on Kinect. I think that must have been the third one then.
Maybe. All I know is we have a bunch of Xbox Connects for our Xbox Ones, and we've unplugged them. But we only have 2. I thought we have 3.
We have 2.
We have 1 in there.
Because the Slim didn't come with one. Neither did the Scorpio.
Then how do we have? I'm just like, what do we even own?
When we bought them when they first came out, they came with the Kinect for an extra $100. We got them, and we didn't buy them with Kinect after that when we bought like the collector's editions of the Slims.
But we used to use them a lot. When they first came out, we used them a lot. We used it to like turn the Xbox on.
Use it for everything it was intended to be used for.
And then all the stupid NSA stuff started happening. And we're just like, I
don't even think we unplugged them for that.
We put the covers over the cameras. But that's for sure.
we got the covers pretty quick though.
I was super paranoid. I was just like,
She's always paranoid.
I gotta cover these cameras. Well, I mean,
I would walk by I got the cover because I walked by my Kinect when I was transitioning from being skinny and hot to fat with boobs, and I had my shirt off, and the Xbox Kinect logged me in as her sister. Because it's supposed to look at you and be like, I recognize you. And it looked at me and it was like, you look like a woman. And it logged me in and I was like, oh, I feel so bad about myself now. So I got that stupid shade and I put it over it the same day. I'm like, you won't log me in by looking at me anymore. Flora says, I would take my boyfriend. He doesn't believe in anything, which blows my mind. I understand people that don't believe in anything as much as I understand people that believe in everything. It's just people that don't understand anything or don't believe in anything typically haven't had any experiences whatsoever. And then as soon as they do, they're like, I don't believe in anything but this. And then all of a sudden they believe in like one thing. You know what I mean? So
Jaxie Baby says, I know not everyone believes in it, but I'm semi-psychic. I have vivid dreams of future events that always happen. Also, it ties into being sensitive and a major empath, and I absorb emotions from everything, even the paranormal.
It's difficult to absorb emotions and be around people who are very dramatic. It's like you have to be very careful about who you let into your life when you're an empath, because absorbing the emotions of people who are extremely negative or just like consistently dramatic is very dangerous. Flora says, the earliest incident that I can remember is when I was younger in grade school and I would see a lady in the corner of my eye passing by around my house.
That's creepy.
That is creepy. Erica left us at 7:34. I was probably balls deep into my Game of Thrones theories. I apologize for not saying bye to you before you left. But a lot of folks in the YouTube chat did say bye.
Let's see. Glitchgrim says, weather in Texas is bipolar, getting me sick.
The
says, weather here is bipolar too. It was like sunny yesterday.
It was
and
75 degrees yesterday.
Pouring today, and it was cold, and I was just like, what is going on?
Gritty says, come to Seattle and go to the underground tour when you have a chance. I was doing some research into a lot of stuff.
Going
that's
to
like
Seattle? I
the crypts and stuff like that around all the different places in the world. Like there's the ones in France, there's the ones in the UK.
The catacombs?
The catacombs, and there's stuff also in Seattle. It's not exactly catacombs, but there's stuff out there. I would love to do that.
The Snark says, I think it's Beric Dondarrion that's the chosen one.
I think so too, but I
one that
feel
keeps
like
bringing
he's
people
too
back to life?
obvious. He's the one that's been brought back to life a bunch.
Okay.
And on top of that,
those people set their swords on fire.
His sword
all
is
the
fake
time.
though. That's the thing. Is like I forget his name, the guy who kept bringing him back to life, the Red Priest, Thoros of Myr, that's his name. He knew the prophecy. That's why he used to set his sword on fire as a joke, like as a parlor trick. And so he taught Beric how to do it. And there's a lot of stuff in the books, but basically like the sword that's supposed to glow like fire doesn't give off any heat. It's a lot of weird stuff. I think I might have that backwards. In fact, I'm not going to stick to that. There's a scene where John and what's his name, the maester who used to work at the Wall, the really old one who turns out to be a Targaryen, they meet with Stannis and they ask to see the sword. because the Red Lady keeps making Stannis' sword look like it's Lightbringer. And so when he shows him the sword, he's like, cool, whatever, we'll do whatever you say. And when they leave, Master Aemon is like, just so you know, he's not the guy, because that sword didn't meet the properties. And he knew that even from being blind. And I think it's because he felt heat from it, and he's like, the sword's not supposed to give off heat. It might be the other way around where he didn't feel heat and it's supposed to.
Definitely a Game of Thrones
It's really
podcast.
deep cut shit. I don't know how we got down this hole.
This is Adam's love. He loves Game of Thrones.
I love lots of nerdy things. I can't wait for the Wheel of Time show to start doing its cast. Wheel of Time, it's fucking 14 books. They're all super long. Read every single one of them. Couldn't put them down.
Literally, Adam today was like, I want what song was it? Something of Castamere. What is it?
Reigns of Castamere.
The Reigns of Castamere. He wants
when
that.
we have our ceremony, I want us to go sit down at the dais and then have the Reigns of Castamere play. And when that happens and people start realizing, like, oh, this song is sad, pull out, like, Nerf gun crossbows and start shooting everyone at our reception.
You said real crossbows. I said Nerf guns.
Maybe.
You twisted fuck. Anyway, all right.
Rod says, long live King Gendry. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I can't wait for him and Arya to
Raisin
meet
Rebel
back up.
says, I want to see her finish her list by the end of the season.
I do too.
That would be so cool.
There's a scene of Cersei in that trailer where she's like in the hall by herself because everyone else is either fighting in the war or not there. And I hope she's just sitting there sipping her wine, thinking she's won. And Arya walks around the corner.
Arya was running around like bleeding
from Winterfell.
I was
Here's
freaking
the thing.
out.
Let's be real about this. You want to get really deep cut? The Night King can raise the dead. There's only one family who's stupid enough to have the crypts of every generation of their dead people below where they live. And it's the Starks, and it's Winterfell. And if you think you might see Ned Stark again, it might be him in zombie form because they have his bones in the fucking crypt. And
but
that first
the
teaser,
bones come back?
That first teaser trailer was of them in the crypt, seeing their own things and everything. They just highlighted the crypt so much in both of those trailers. I really think something like that's going to happen.
I hope not.
Or the Night King needs something from the crypt. I don't know. There's a lot of shit. I don't know. We had like a month to go. I need to like calm down. I got this Game of Thrones boner under the desk. It's tilting the desk. Everything's going to slide off soon. So we need to just bring it back a little bit.
So Urban Decay is actually coming out with Game of Thrones makeup, and I need it in my life. I need it so bad. When our friend Andy brought it up, I was just like, I need this. Oh my gosh.
Akbar says, sounds like a beautiful wedding. It will be.
Yeah, and then we're going to stab someone. All right. Let's see.
I am caught up on my YouTube chat again. We got to get into this last story of the night.
Conversation. Yeah, hold on. It's only been an hour. Chill.
I'm just saying, some people might be tuning in for the first time, like, scary stories, huh? And it's me like, no, but Ned Stark, blah, 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 blah.
Swazzle says, I wanted an engagement crossbow instead of ring.
That's funny.
It's kind of amazing. Yes, the Snarked, we do have to hang out. Adam would love to talk to you about Game of Thrones.
And Wheel of Time. I don't know pretty much anyone else in my life who's read the full Wheel of Time series.
All right. I'm just looking at how many viewers we have compared to Man vs. Game.
Why are you looking at... Well, don't compare us to something like that.
All right. So this next email has been long put off like by 30 minutes. But
for those of you listening in the podcast version, it happened like that.
Oh, yeah.
The magic of editing. You're welcome, folks.
So the title of this next email is Apparently My Apartment is Haunted.
Pretty good.
It's always nice. I mean, not nice that your apartment's haunted.
Not nice for you.
It's a good title.
But we're excited to read about your plight with your haunted apartment.
All right. So it goes, hey, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hey, I'm Rachel from Hong Kong. What?
Hi, Rachel
That's
from Hong
awesome.
Kong.
I hope you two can read this on the podcast. You two are absolutely awesome and also relationship goals.
Thank
Thanks. I'm not that good at English.
She goes, thanks. Because in her head, she's like, if you only knew.
I hate him so much.
I hate him so much.
I'm not that good at English, so there might be some incorrect grammar and stuff, but oh well, I tried. I don't speak any Chinese, so we're even.
I don't speak any other language, and you're communicating pretty well so far on the one I do speak, so thank you.
I tried to learn how to write thank you in Chinese today, and...
Mandarin or Cantonese?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I mean, I can do it because it's like similar to Japanese, but that's the only two, well, technically the only one symbol I know how to draw.
Well, at least you have one more than I do.
All right. So my uncle passed away when I was in primary 4. So was fourth grade.
Grade 4, primary school.
And I didn't really have an idea of what happened. All I knew was that he was in the hospital, and a few weeks after my mom told me the bad news. I really didn't know how to feel, and I couldn't really cry because I was a young kid and was too shocked to react at all.
I think that's a really common reaction to death when you're young.
You don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think up until like probably my 20s, when people would tell me, even someone very close to me passed away, I'd like, and I felt weird about this at the time, and looking back, I'm like, that's just how it is. I'd be like, oh man, like, that's a bummer, because it just doesn't settle in for you like when you're an adult, where like typically you panic or just freak out. And some people as adults, man, some people as adults hear that and they don't cry. They don't have an emotional breakdown. They're like, oh wow, like, and you know, the stages of grief and all that stuff, sometimes they apply and sometimes they just don't. People are just like numb to the idea, and it doesn't really settle in until like you legitimately begin to miss them. So it's a normal thing is what I'm trying to say.
A few months later, the band members from the bands he signed said that they saw him. So did a lot of his friends.
Wow.
I started to gain an interest in bands after he passed away. Spoiler alert, they were bands that he liked because, well, you'll see. I also picked up a lot of the things he learned when he was younger, including photography, drums, and guitar. I started learning guitar and took his guitar. I'm going to be honest, I'm not bad. Toot your own horn.
All right, toot, a little bit. It's a good thing, though. Have confidence with what you're trying to do.
When I took my uncle's guitar, I put it in the corner of my room and couldn't sleep that night until 12 or 1 a.m. Right around then, I heard knocks from the guitar. That has happened twice since I adopted the guitar. Doors and windows in my room also slam on their own.
I gotta say, it's a nice thing to take your uncle's
poltergeist.
Guitar. It's just a really creepy thing that it happened. This stuff happened after you took the guitar. Knocks from the guitar is terrifying for me. Like, I don't know, like, if you heard the guitar playing itself, I mean, that would also be super creepy, but like at least like a little nice because you have this melody. I don't know. I'm just imagining me being in this situation. I'm just like, wow. I don't know if I'd hang on to this guitar. I probably would because it means so much to me because it was my uncle's. But still, man, that's super creepy.
Yeah. Have you ever like played a guitar where you did like a beat, so you like thumped on the guitar
yeah.
and then strum? I don't know. I used to do that.
Yes, I think a lot of people have done that.
I don't know. I'm not good at it. Fuck it. Doors and windows in my room also slam on their own. There was a time where he lived in my room, maybe for half a year, because his apartment was being redecorated. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's like he's
familiar with that area.
Then one day I heard knocks again, but this time in the middle of the day. My mom had students over, so I didn't suspect much. So I just got annoyed and yelled, "What do you want?" The knocking.
What do you want from me?
The knocking stopped. After a few minutes, it happened again. This time, I went out and looked who knocked on the door. No one. Apparently, they didn't hear my loud yell. Honestly, thank God they didn't. I started taking an interest in the things that he used to like. Bands like My Chem. Yes, Robin, I like them too. I love My Chem.
It's hilarious.
Way, I love you.
We just got done talking about Gerard Way.
Let's talk about them if you want to and if you have time. I love My Chemical Romance.
She was listening to Gerard Way while she was getting ready.
Yes, but it was like a Dead Mouse song that had Gerard Way as vocals on it. And it's funny because now that we have the Echo Dot all set up, this morning I was just like, can you play Dead Mouse for me? Like first thing in like 9 a.m. in the morning.
That's funny.
And I'm just like, play some Dead Mouse. Anyway, I started learning guitar, took photography lessons at school, which I later found out the teacher was my uncle from my dad's side. So what's up with my uncles in photography?
That's hilarious. It's really funny to think that your uncles are very similar people.
And recently took drum classes and was surprisingly good at it. You must be just absolutely
musically talented.
Right.
Some people are just musically inclined and some people are not.
I have a conspiracy theory that he is actually controlling me most of the day. That's frightening.
Let's hope that's not the case.
It's so called a possession.
Let's hope it's more like you're taking an interest in the same things as your uncle because you're very similar people and you're talented like he was, and not he's controlling your body like you're a puppet. I'll go ahead and mark that very long yawn. She's just so enraptured with the things we're doing.
No, I have been stressed out about my mechanics of materials exam this morning or this afternoon
and last night
and just my brain.
If only you had a giant cup of coffee in front of you to keep you awake.
All right. So, I very recently found a Welcome to the Black Parade CD, My Chemical Romance, under his bed while trying to find his drum kit. You do know, I mean, Welcome to the Black Parade.
Yes.
Okay.
I think everyone knows. Second album released, right? It obviously has Welcome to the Black Parade.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember it.
It's my face is just like,
She just looks at me like, you know this, right? Dead stare. Dead cold stare.
it's weird because that was the album I bought less than a week ago.
That's a bummer when you buy something and then you find it later. You're like, oh, I didn't need to buy that anyways.
It happens all the time. I think at a point we had like 4 different mustards.
Mustards?
Yeah.
Was it?
We kept buying mustard.
We buy a lot of spices too that we think we need. Like we were in the store the other day.
Do you really need 2 celery salts?
She was like, I need white pepper. And I was like, I'm pretty sure we have white pepper. Not just that, but I'm pretty sure I bought white pepper and we already had white pepper. She's like, we don't. I'm like, all right. So she bought white pepper. Guess what? We have 3 white peppers now.
White pepper's good though.
It is good.
We don't need that much celery salt though.
We don't need that much celery salt. This is such a weird podcast.
My mom also said I've started to act like him more and more after he passed away, which is weird. But I'm glad because I looked up to him a lot and thought he was very cool. I don't really know how to end this, but please give a shout out to me and my really talented friends. I have a girl group called Rejected Royals. The Instagram is rejected_royals_band. And my friend Leslie the emo is really talented.
That's awesome.
So go check those guys out. I kind of want to check it out too.
It's a good name.
I mean, I love music.
Rejected Royals.
My art account is Ray_I_animations. I love y'all. Stay spooky. I love your podcast and keep up the wonderful work. I don't know how to write here, but people usually put sincerity. So let's assume I know what to do. Sincerely, Rachel. Thank you so much.
Solid sign off.
It's that's a really solid story. Like a really solid, I don't know, homegrown horror type thing where it's like, am I getting possessed by his personality?
Do my similarities, is this because he was my uncle or is it because he's like influencing my actions?
Or it's like something where you looked up to him and so you're trying to be into what he was into.
I think that's definitely, I shouldn't say definitely, I think that's more likely the case than some sort of possession. But I mean, if you have an object in your house that belonged to him and creepy stuff like that happens, I don't know. That's just a weird thing. I don't know if I would keep that object personally, although knowing what sentimental value it must have for you, I can't imagine getting rid of it either. So either way, let's just hope it's just your way of tribute, like being a tribute to your uncle. So very good story. Thank you for sharing that with us. We do appreciate it. So let's look over in stream chat and see what you fine folks had to say. And that was the last one of the night.
Yeah.
And we are going to do marbles like we always do.
Yes.
So no big deal. Don't run away. Anyone on YouTube can switch over to twitch.tv/scarishpodcast if you would like. I didn't get a whole lot of stuff over in the YouTube chat, which is great, so I can get marbles on stream set up here in a second. Taylor says, no one my age in San Jose knows that song. How can you live in San Jose if you don't know the song? Do you know the way to San Jose? And then they go on to say, I love you guys so much for referencing that. That's for you. You're welcome.
Let's see.
And David is over, your cousin David is over in YouTube and left these symbols.
The first one is Sheshe, and then the second one is I don't know in Cantonese. So it's thank you in Cantonese, but I don't know how to say it.
Thank you, David.
That's why it's like the same symbol twice. Cause
right.
It's, yeah. So that's the only one I know how to write in Chinese.
What do you got over there in Twitch?
Sweet Jesus. Hold on. Jaxie Babe says, what a beautiful wedding, says a bridesmaid to a waiter.
That's good.
This
is a true story.
Panic at the Disco friends.
One of my first friends to get married, actually it was 2 of my friends marrying each other. And they're like, hey, we're going to have each couple that walks out during the wedding reception when they announce like, and now Adam Diaz and blah, 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 blah. Like they get to pick what song they come out to. So everyone had like entrance music. And they said like, just so you know, like we have one more groomsman than we have a bridesmaid. So you and your friend John are going to walk out at the same time as Kim. And we're like, okay, cool. And we're like, what song does she want to walk out to? And they're like, she doesn't care. So you guys pick. And we're like, cool. So we got close to the wedding and they're like, hey, did you guys pick the song you want to walk out to? And we're like, we do. We want to walk out to the song by Panic at the Disco about the bride being a whore. Because it had just come out. And she was just like, are you fucking serious right now? I was like, yeah, because that part in the beginning was like, do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. We're going to like tiptoe out to it. And she was like, I fucking hate you guys. And we thought up until the moment the song played that she was actually going to let it be that. And it was like something completely different. It was Green Day.
Oh.
And we're like, oh.
Wasn't the whole wedding like Green Day?
It was like Green Day colors. So it was black, white, and red. So, and yeah, they named their first son, Trey, after Trey Cool. So, yeah.
I bet he's Trey Cool.
He's super cool. He's one of the coolest kids I've ever met. But yeah, true story. We were that big of assholes when I was in my 20s where it's like, we want to be announced the song that calls you a whore. And we were like upset that she didn't let us walk out to that.
Chessie Cat says maybe we need a Game of Thrones channel in the Discord.
We definitely do.
Let's see.
It'll just be me in there talking endlessly, even to just myself.
Now I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head. Thanks. Swalzel said, I would love to watch Adam just talking about the show, like watch 2 episodes, then live stream and chat about it.
I would love that too.
That would be super fun. Beast Nerd. So Ralph says, I'm trying to talk them into viewing parties, but a video of them watching would be awesome.
I don't know if you have to really talk us into it. We're gonna view it. Whether or not we view it in a party is like just the only debate going on.
With shows like Game of Thrones, we literally sit down at the time it's gonna be on.
Yeah, we have to watch. It's not a DVR thing. Like we got 2 top chefs waiting for us. Like it's not that shit.
Are we gonna have Charlie over? We have to have Charlie over. We usually have like our friends that watch it
because we used to all live together.
Yeah,
so
we used to
watch
live
it
together. So that would be super fun. We got to get like Game of Thrones costumes or something.
We're gonna cosplay to watch it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Spooky Zora says, my 14-year-old sister is watching Umbrella Academy, or she wants to watch it, and said, oh, do you know that guy who wrote it was in my favorite band? She has no idea who MCR is. What's
They've
wrong
been broken
with her?
up for a long time, man.
But they still, Gerard Way at least, still makes music
I'm sure the rest of them do, but they probably just don't like get as much credit for it. Just saying.
Well, I mean, Mikey, his brother, he still did like Vans Warped Tour stuff and all that.
It's like everything Gerard Way. Everyone's like, did you know Gerard Way made a comic book? And now it's on Netflix, and that comic book is Umbrella Academy. So, fun stuff.
Yeah, I can't believe now it's like, the man who made Umbrella Academy. No, it's like the lead singer from
Right.
Okay. Anyway, so...
I'm going to switch us over to Marbles on Stream. Continue reading the Twitch chat.
The Snark says, White Pepper's a good rap name.
That's funny.
Let's see.
All right, folks. So as Robin goes through that, switch over to twitch.tv/scarishpodcast if you're on YouTube. If you're already on Twitch, thank you for being on Twitch, and hopefully it's been working well for you. We're going to do Marbles on Stream, the typical 2 races we always do. Robin,
all
what
right.
can they collect if they win?
I am going to hand sign. We're going to sign a coaster that we have. So we have... Sorry, I have so much stuff on my counter over here. We have these coasters, these Scary-ish coasters, and we sign them. So we sign them, and I mean, if you want me to, I'll draw stuff. Like, this is for our friend Panda, so I drew a little panda for her on there.
Don't make them like weird or creepy.
Don't make them weird. Someone asked for a little floating cat. I don't know how to draw animals very well, so I'm so sorry.
She did, and we sent it.
And then someone else said a little omen baby doggo. So I drew like our little Sheba at the bottom.
Thank you for joining us, Cradia. We appreciate you joining us. Everyone right now, if you would like to vote on the track we're going to race, type !vote space and then the number that corresponds with the track that you would like to race.
I'm not going to say mine out loud because
we influenced the vote too much last time.
Let's see. All right. Tomorrow's Thursday. Did you know that?
Yep. I know that because we're recording live right now.
I'm so excited for no school.
I bet.
But I still have work like a real person.
All right. So we have 22 people, it looks like, in the channel right now. We have 11 votes, so 50% of you have voted. We'll wait a little while. We haven't had as many.
We have 11 votes?
I mean, this has been up on the screen for a while. You did your whole scary, spooky coaster spiel.
Yeah, but there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What?
It's only 6.
6
7.
What? There's more votes further up, trust me.
Oh. Whoops.
So we got 12 votes in there. 5 of them are for Twisted Toothpick, which is currently in the lead.
That sounds frightening.
I guess it does sound frightening, but not too bad. Its average time is 1 minute 52 seconds, so it will be a quick track. The record time is under a minute. Can one of you break that? That would be pretty sweet if you did.
Ban Ralph. That's what Miss Deasy said.
Ban Ralph. That's a good joke. Right on. So we didn't have as many people this week as we normally do, but that's okay. We know fine. A lot of you guys are busy. No big deal. We had the most people we've ever had last week.
It's midterms time.
It is. And on top of that, the YouTube numbers aren't showing up again, so I only see who's in the Twitch.
You know, spring break's coming up. You know what that means? Going to Disneyland.
Daytona Beach?
No, Disneyland. We can go on a Monday. How cool would that be? Wait.
Unless I get
Those that go to Disneyland a lot, please tell us what the best day to go is. Is it during the weekday, sometime during the weekday? I hate going on Saturday and Sunday. I hate it. I love going during the weekday because I feel like I actually get to park at Mickey and Friends. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Let us know what day we should go during my spring break, because that would be great. My spring break is not the same as California spring break, which is awesome. So let me know, please. Help me out.
Silent Picture says your doggo was great. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you guys enjoy them. Because it really is me sitting there like, how do I want to draw this? And then I just think in my head, like, I want to make it cute, because I don't want you guys to see it like Robin's a trash artist, because I am a little bit of a trash artist.
No, you're not. Robin basically says horrible things about herself to herself constantly, and she just assumes you're going to say that about her. So I'm happy that none of you folks do that and you don't fulfill her prophecy. The viewers' vote right now is Twisted Toothpick, and we're going to go ahead and move forward with that track. So with that said, the survival rate is 43.11%. No, it's horrible. It's less than half of us are going to survive. That's one of the worst survival rates I've ever seen.
Oops.
So exclamation point play to join in.
Oh, do we get new emotes yet on here that I can make?
We got, a couple new ones. I mentioned that the other day when we got them.
Oh.
And then in the month of March, we'll get another one. So we're going to be picking up more and more emotes as time goes on. Twitch basically said if you can carry enough viewers and you have enough sub points, that we're going to give you more emotes, even if you're not like a partner. And we're going to be designing a few more. And by we, I mean Robin will be. But we have unlocked them thanks to you folks. So it's really nice to see. So far, we have 18 people. And we only had 13 votes on track. So some of you guys really just don't feel like voting on the track. You're like, doesn't matter what track we race. I'm a whoop some ass. So 18 balls. We're going to wait a little bit and see if anyone else wants to join.
That's cute. I have like Overwatch League one. Sorry. I'm looking at all the emotes that I have unlocked, and it's kind of cool.
So Robin sees squirrels and becomes very distracted very frequently.
Sorry.
So 18 marbles. I think that's about as many as we're going to get. I'm going to click start. Anyone who has not joined in yet, exclamation point play. I don't know why it came out of my mouth like that.
I haven't done it yet. Did I?
Yes, you did. I think you were like the first one in. You're at the top of the list. So
thanks.
Click and start. You have 10 seconds to join in. Let's get a look at this track. We got Plinko. We got a lot of loop-de-loops.
I like loops.
This is going to be crazy. Raisin Rebel got in just in the nick of time. So pretty good work there. And it begins.
What is everyone's song that they teach their kids or learned how to tie their shoelaces with? Because
I didn't have a song.
You didn't have a song?
Nope.
To me, it's the SpongeBob one. Where
Mothboy
it's like,
Real Estate is in first place with Glitch in second place, and Pancakes 29 in third. Keep going, Robin.
I'm sorry. It's the SpongeBob song where it's like loop-de-loop and pull, and how your shoes are looking cool.
Wow.
That's I think that one's cute. But I'm sure everyone has like their own, thing that
different
they learned.
Version.
Right.
Yeah. So this is really interesting because it's a really tight group right now, and everyone's just Spooky Zora is taking the lead. Spooky Zora got to join us for the full show. Shout out to Spooky Zora.
Which is awesome. We're sorry your event got canceled that you were supposed to go to tonight, but we're glad you could join us for the whole show this week.
Indeed, they are in the lead as well. We haven't had a lot of deaths, so we have to be coming up on something very vicious here soon, since the survival rate is very very low.
Maybe.
Swazzles is way far back there. I think your marble might have gotten stuck. Mothboy Real Estate has been eliminated. We got some people getting through right now. Chessy Cat, Miss Deezy, Pancakes 29. Pancakes 29 has been pretty solid in the lead.
I'm wondering
the Snarked was just eliminated.
Oh, okay, there you go.
No, they're just falling down that tunnel. Chessy Cat's in the lead, Bower Knot, and Pancakes. Oh, here we go. This wonderful jump. Bower Knot looks like has died. Chessy Cat and Pancakes 29 are still alive. Pancakes is really making a run at this. 52 nicks.
Oh, it's gone.
Is gone.
Sorry.
We got excited for you there for a second, but you were playing too fast and loose with your jumps.
I think this is it.
Pancakes is weaving their way through. Akasuna no Kairi has died. Spooky Flea, Raisin Rebel, Neon Scars, Beast Nerd has died. Glitch Grim comes out of fucking nowhere and takes the lead, and they win. Congratulations, Glitch. That was fucking nuts.
That was like
Pancakes 29 is flipping desks and throwing furniture right now, and I can't blame him because Glitch came out of nowhere to take that win.
Did you look into making subscriber balls yet?
I did. We can do it, and then after that, I was like, I need to talk to Robin about this because I need her artistic skills, and that just sort of never happened. Swazzles died, and Jaxie Babe is 8th place, and it looks like they are going to finish.
The two of us made it.
Boom.
Ow.
You hit me pretty hard.
Yeah,
unnecessary.
your
Jaxie Babe.
are sharp.
Okay. Jaxie Babe will finish. Only 8 people out of our 19 marbles completed the course. Glitch Grim has 16 points on the season with 1 win now. And it looks like Chessy Cat is still in first place on the season with 18 points. No, that's not true. Neon Scars has 21 points.
Connor, you did not miss the stream. I don't know if it's might be frozen. Twitch has been freezing for a lot of people, so that might be what's going on there.
We are we're past all the stories. We're only doing 4 a week now, so anyone who joins in a little bit late is going to come in, and we're going to be doing marbles, which is the case. We still have one race to go, though, if anyone would like to join us. So let's back out and pick the next track. Congratulations one more time to Glitch Grim. Hit us up. Let us know if you would like to collect your coaster, because I don't think you've gotten one yet.
No, the coasters are new, so everybody that wins usually now.
Email storytime@scarish.com. Let us know. You've done it before. I'm sure we have your address somewhere, but just keep us posted. And,
everyone's address changes.
It's the best way, because if we're not looking at Twitch and you message us through Twitch, then we might not see it. So just email us, or you can hit us up on Discord or whatever the case may be. ! Vote, space, then the number, and you can go ahead and put your vote in for what track we're going to race second.
What do I want?
I'm pretty sure the red ones are the ones we've already raced, so I usually try and pick one that we haven't raced yet.
Me too. I already have Twitch Prime. Just give me my StarCraft crap.
Wow, you've really just derailed here.
Sorry.
Robin's claiming her free rewards off of
There's a
off of
StarCraft
Twitch.
bundle. Oh no, maybe I don't get it. Hold on. Oh, it starts in April. Dang it.
All right. Right now, the viewers' vote is tied. We have 11 votes in, and there's multiple tracks tied with only 2 votes. So your vote does matter. Please vote, or else I'm just going to do random map and see what happens from there. We had, I think, 13 votes last map. Alienated is currently in the lead with 13 votes. So we'll see if that holds out. 14 votes. Now we have more votes this track than we had last track, so that's a good thing.
I just noticed I'm seeing everybody's little ghosty, and it's like all different badges because
6 month subscribers.
6 month subscribers. There's the 3 month subscribers. I think the silver star the empty star is the regular 1 month subscribers. That's so cool that
it's cool to see your work come to fruition, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a 3 month subscriber badge in there too. All right, so it looks like Alienated is going to be the track that we are going to go with. We have 14 votes in, and it is the current leader. So let's just go ahead and start with that and see what happens. And the survival rate on this one is 43.4%. So a lot of us are going to die. That's what it's going to come down to.
Well, a lot of people didn't die last time.
No, we only had 8 people finish out of 19.
Oh.
All right, ! Play if you would like to join in. McShake and Bake says, "Woo! Aliens!"
I don't know how is it like aliens?
It's he does it a lot. So
I'm just seeing Mulder's face where he's looking into the light and his face is just super squinty.
I always just hear him say like, "I want to believe."
We need to watch more X-Files because we got to
the point where the world was ending and then Scully got abducted.
No, that's in the newer X-Files.
Yeah.
I mean the old X-Files.
Oh yeah. I mean it's a Monster of the Week show and I can only handle so many of those.
We've been watching.
We watch Supernatural constantly. That's a Monster of the Week show as well.
You're a monster.
So we have 20 marbles this time, which means we have more this race than we had last race, which is always cool to see. So we'll give it a little bit more time. Then I'm going to click start. Once I click start, you can go ahead and jump in here in the last 10 seconds. So let's go ahead and get this thing going and take a look at what this track looks like. You have 10 seconds left to join in. This thing looks like a snake. It's very windy. There's multiple paths. They diverge, and people are going to die. So let's see what happens here. It begins. I really like to start with the Plinko thing. Miss Deezy and Spooky Zora just shot straight through. They just had a free fall. They didn't bump into anything.
J. Bay Watt has the local record.
So we've done this one before, and the local record's a minute 36. And it looks like Miss Deezy is way out in front of the local ghost ball, along with Spooky Zora and multiple people.
Power Knot says, "Whoa, man, spoiler warning." Because you totally gave the end.
I gave the end of one season, so don't worry. Clearly, it keeps going. So lots of pulsating rods. No one has died quite yet, which is good to see. Spooky Zora and Miss Deezy are like neck and neck, but they're on different tracks. This is really, really fun.
Gillian Anderson is really hot in that one show.
She's
with
just,
the super, with not
just
the,
really hot.
The serial killer.
She's just very hot. She's in a new show too, where she plays like a sex therapist. Like, you guys are neck and neck. Look at this. And right behind you is Neon Scars. And you guys are in front of the record pace. Spooky Zora is just putting the pedal to the metal right now. They just press the button for their Nas.
Wow, they're going faster than his.
All right. Miss Deezy and the local ball. The local ghost ball are on the other side. Spooky Zora is trying to take the record and the win. We haven't lost a lot of people, so I don't know. It says that the completion percentage is much lower than it appears.
This looks like the end.
It does look like, I mean, you can literally see the end. So maybe people miss it. Maybe these pulsating rods kill a lot of people. That's probably the case. This is going to be intense. This is a really good line Spooky Zora took. I think Spooky Zora might take this. Unless they overshoot the finish. And I think you're going to take the record. Congratulations, Spooky Zora. You joined in on a bad day for you. And guess what? You just won yourself a coaster. So congratulations. You are first place. Neon Scars is second place. Miss Deezy got eliminated, which is just bizarre. McShake and Bake got eliminated in the end. Silent Picture got eliminated. People are just dropping like flies. Glitchgrim finished yet again. I finished yet again.
I love that everybody bounces straight out afterwards.
Yeah, like you make it into it and then you die. D. Robin Grace got eliminated. Let's all do a quick clap for that.
Oh,
Golf
man.
clap. The balls get knocked out because people are landing in there and smacking into them. So we do have a new local record. And Spooky Zora, please email storytime@scaryish.com and let us know your mailing address and put in a request if you would like for something that we can draw on the coaster. We will also sign them. Let's see. Well, we're going to wait to see who the last person is to finish.
Smells
and then,
like super hot computer in here.
yeah, it's because my computer is just churning right now. This laptop has done so much for me in the last 3 years. Every one of our podcasts have gone through it. So there you go. Looking at it, Neon Scars is up to 26 points, so that is quite a bit on the season. Chessy-Cat's up to 18. Spooky Zora is up to 21. And a lot of people are playing for long-distant third or fourth place. So good stuff. Good work. And we're very proud of every single one of you that raced.
Cool.
All right. So I guess that's just about most of what we do for the show. I mean, we're doing it with a little bit less than the normal like load that we have. But we might go back to 6 if this seemed too short. But realistically,
it's been an hour and 45 minutes.
It's been a decent length show. We'll see once the edit comes in what the final result comes down to. I have a feeling it's going to be between 30 and 40 minutes, which is relatively short. And most people are like, no, make them longer. So we'll figure it out. The biggest fear is that we're going to run out of stories. So we're gonna operate under the we're gonna operate so that we don't run out of stories. Is basically what I'm going to get down to here. Is we don't want to read more stories than we take in a week. And so going down to 4 means that we're doing that. We can build up more of a backlog and stuff like that. So if you have a story and you keep saying you're going to send it, please send it. Now is the time to do so.
Ask your relatives, ask your friends if they have crazy paranormal, supernatural experiences. Even if it is about Supernatural, the show. I love that show.
I hate you so much. It is a good topic, too, to bring up. Like, so I listen to this podcast. It's paranormal, and people send in their stories like, do you have anything like that, Dad, Mom, Grandma,
anything
Grandpa?
weird happened to you?
Yeah, you'd be shocked at some of the stories your parents or your grandparents might actually tell you. It might blow your mind. So fun stuff. Let's go ahead and just do the normal outro. So thank you so much to everyone who sent us your emails. We do appreciate it. And for those of you who want to share with us the stories that you have, email storytime@scaryish.com. You can also message us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/scarishpodcast. You can join the group, the Scarish Spooky Friends group. If you want to post it there and get some comments instantly, you can also go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. And if you do that, you can fill out that form and send it directly to us. Don't have to worry about going through anything else. If you want to join our Discord, we have a lot of channels. We're going to be putting up a Game of Thrones channel because I can't seem to stop talking about it. And I'm really excited for this new season. And there's channels for pretty much everything else that you could ever think of. And if there isn't a channel, you can request one, and we might just make it.
We have a Haunting at Hill House spoiler chat in there.
There's a Disney chat.
There's
a bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah, it's what we are trying to build is just a big community of people that are into weird things.
And we can all talk about the other things
and
we're
the
into
other
as well.
things that we like. So I know everyone is into their own stuff, and I think it's cool that it's like bringing like-minded people together.
Yeah, it's very fun. And you don't realize you're as like-minded with other people when you have other things to argue about, which is why this is like a troll-free zone. And I know that people have popped up to try and make it less than that. And we have moderators in the community, and there are folks that have been dedicated that we trust. And we appreciate the folks that like look out to make sure no one's being inflammatory or derogatory or just giant douchebags, because we just want to like be able to all come together and talk about stuff that interests us. So if you want to join the Discord, go to scarish.com. On the right-hand side, when you scroll down, you see the links to all of our social medias. Just click the Discord one and you'll be in. Tweet at us @ScarishPod. Instagram is @ScarishPodcast. And one last shout out, go check out the store that we have,
Streamlabs store. Go down. If you're on Twitch, just scroll down the little description area
below the live video. There should be a button that Robin designed that'll take you right there.
Yeah, I designed that pretty little thing.
Check out the merch store.
The little check out the merch store. Yeah, so we have that merch store. We have a donate button down there and everything, so go check it out. There is exclusive stuff on the Streamlabs stuff that's not going to be on what's that other place? Teespring.
Teespring.
So the Streamlabs store has some exclusive things that aren't on Teespring, like I don't know if you folks checked out the Instagram, but we have new episode cards on Instagram. So I designed that. So the little ghosty on the episode card is on shirts in the Streamlabs store. And
it's a headphone ghost is kind of what I'm calling
he has
design.
headphones on. And we have this super cool rainbow design on the
Spring
Streamlabs
2019 logo that's going to be releasing soon.
So the spring design, I'm going to start putting on little button size magnets and get stickers made that I'm going to send out to all our patrons at the Badge of Honor tier and up. And so we'll get that sorted out soon because I'm still working on it. And yeah, so check it out.
If you folks don't want to go between 3 stores to see what's exclusive where, what you can do is go to scarish.com and click on store, and all of our products are combined into one location. And if you click on it because you'd like to purchase it, it will take you to the purchasing site, so you don't have to worry about going back and forth between everything. They're all compiled there. And we're going to keep it that way anytime we add a new design, regardless of where it's at. We're going to make sure that it's put up on our scarish.com store so that you can find it as easy as possible. And thank you to everyone who's already purchased some of those products. Robin has done some very hard work getting those designs together, and I really think they look very good. And some of you do too. So
I'm trying to fit all the drawing and getting stuff made between school and work and stuff like that. And so I'm hoping that you guys enjoy it because I really work hard at it.
She does. She works very hard. So it's the least I can do to just make a page that just combines all the different places where we have our products. So Robin, if folks wanted to donate to us, they're not interested in purchasing materials, or maybe they just want to actually do a one-time donation or a monthly donation, how can they do that?
If you go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast, we do have some exclusive stuff that we've put on there for patrons only, and that starts at $1 and up, and it's a monthly thing. And I mean, Adam just posted him raging. It's like a clip from the episode we just recorded this past week.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with y'all really quick. So a lot of times we're gonna record on Sunday, and you know what happens on Sunday? Life. Basically, one of the only days where we have time to go refuel and restock for all the things we're gonna need for the week, because Robin is very busy because she has school and work, and sometimes we can't fit the record into Sunday, but we fit it into Monday, and sometimes those records go late. And when you have someone just drag past your house when you live next to a road in a motorcycle at 11 o'clock at night, just revving that thing up in the 35-mile-per-hour zone to make it as loud as humanly possible, yeah, I got triggered, man. And it was like a minute and a half of me just going off. And I was like, do I leave this in the show? And Robin's like, you should just put it up there for the patrons. I was like, all right, they can hear what I sound like raw when I'm really angry. Someone commented on Patreon, they're like, I like to have an What Grinds My Gears thing where I listen to Adam lose his mind.
Yeah, so we have stuff like that's posted on there. We have a couple other stupid sound bites that Adam's made.
I have that song that I made of Robin humming because she covers her dead air with rap, and I think it's really good. So it's good stuff. We also have discount codes for a lot of the stuff that we put up.
If you become a patron this month, right now there's an exclusive code for 15% off our Teespring store. So you can order stuff on there, get 15% off your whole order, and help support us, which is great.
It makes financial sense to sign up for less money than you're going to save.
Yes.
Because in the end, you're a patron, you're helping us out, and on top of that, you're saving money.
Yes. So if you go to Patreon, subscribe on Patreon for $3, you get the 15% off code. You go to Teespring, and then you get $5 off a shirt.
Yeah.
So it
makes financial sense.
And what else?
Ko-fi.
Ko-fi, coffee.com, ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. Those are for one-time donations, and all those donations help us upgrade our studio setup. We're going to get new lights here soon, which is great. We are definitely working on buying those plane tickets to go to San Jose and visit the Winchester. We're going to hopefully set that up.
We hope to have an announcement here imminently.
And please let us know if what days would be better if we went on a Saturday or a Friday or Sunday.
I imagine weekends are best for most people, but we just don't know. And once we know, it'll help us realistically, we're going to have to make the decision based off of when we can go and then take some input into when you folks can go as well. So that's coming up very, very, very quickly here. And we're going to have enough time where we can kind of coordinate with the Winchester Mansion. I need to reach out to them and be like, yo, dogs, if we have a large enough group, how can we make this thing private?
Right.
How can we make sure that if we get a good number of people showing up, that we can all go on the same tour?
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. It'd be really neat if we could have enough people go buy tickets and then have them just have it be a day for just a scary-ish thing.
Yeah,
That'd
I don't
be
know
so
if it would be a
cool.
full day, but it could be just like an event.
Yeah, I think
So
that'd be really
we'll
cool.
see what happens with it, but we're very excited. Thank you, everyone who came out during January Patreon push and made it possible. So
Yeah.
I think that's just about everything that we have, though. So thank you to everyone who watched us live. Thank you to everyone who's listened to the podcast version. We appreciate every one of you. We hope to hear from you, and we hope that you can come watch one of the live shows because it's very, very fun.
It's very fun. We love talking to everyone in the chat. Obviously, we went on some amazing tangents about Game of Thrones this week, and you guys are awesome. Just
Indeed.
saying.
So I think that's just about everything that we got. So Robin, why don't you sign us out?
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.